Hello. Hello. Live on the campus of St. John Bosco High School in Bellflower, California. It's what many are calling the game of the week between the Mater Dei Monarchs and the host St. John Bosco Braves. A hello and good evening to all. My name is Chris Sylvester alongside Adam Ferrister and Nick Rice. Tonight, we see a matchup of two powerhouses, the Braves and one of the most storied high school football programs on the West Coast, the Monarchs of Mater Dei. This was supposed to be the matchup of undefeateds until last week when Santa Margarita spoiled Mater Dei's homecoming, beating the Monarchs 16-7. Nonetheless, Bruce Rollinson, the longtime head coach of the Monarchs, has his squad fired up for a chance tonight to knock off the number one team in the state, being the St. John Bosco Braves. Adam, for Bosco offensively to be successful tonight against arguably the best defense they'll see all season long, what will they have to do?
They need to develop the run first, and that will lead into the pass. Both Sean McGrew and Manesi Anesi are two very, very good backs and arguably two of the best in the Trinity League, and they have very good wide receivers on the outside, Shea Fields being one of them there. And if you have Shea Fields double covered, then the other guy on the other side of the field, or other end side, is Jaleel Wadood. And either one of them will be open because if you double cover one has to be in single coverage. So Josh Rosen's going to have two very good receivers to hit, and it should be very, very interesting.
And Nick, will Mater Dei's offense rebound tonight after only managing to put up 7 points last week against the Eagles of Santa Margarita?
Well, the statistics don't lie. That was a terrible performance, worst on the year by Mater Dei. We can go on and on about what happened last week, but we do want to mention one of the top rushing offenses, not only in the Trinity League, but also in the state of California. This is a team that can run it down your throat, and also a passing attack that, led by Chase Forrest, quarterback for those Mater Dei Monarchs. This is a team that has not thrown an interception with star receiver Ben Humphreys in the lineup. He's coming back from injury after a 5-week hiatus, but he's back in the lineup, and this should be a revitalized group that, frankly, without Humphreys, is a limited offense that can't stretch the field. Now with Humphreys' emergence into that lineup, I believe these Monarchs offensively have a chance, Chris.
Should be a very good game, despite the fact that, Mater Dei is a one-loss team. It's still the game of the week here from Bellflower. We got a sold-out crowd at Father Frank Rabata Field, and we got kickoff between St. John Bosco and Mater Dei when we get back on Spreaker.com, an affiliation of National Sports.
Tam's Pizzeria is a proud sponsor of the St. John Bosco Football Radio Network. Tam's has it all: pizza, wings, burgers, and more. Say Braves #1 when you order any specialty pizza and receive $2 off. Call in and order at 562-925-7700. Again, 562-925-7700. Walk-ins are always welcome, as Tam's is located on the corner of Bellflower and Rosecrans. Tam's Pizzeria. They have it all. Tam's Pizzeria is a proud sponsor of the St. John Bosco Football Radio Network. Tam's has it all: pizza, wings, burgers, and more. Say Braves #1 when you order any specialty pizza and receive $2 off. Call in and order at 562-925-7700. Again, 562-925-7700. Walk-ins are always welcome, as Tam's is located on the corner of Bellflower and Rosecrans. Tam's Pizzeria. They have it all.
Back here at St. John Bosco High School, we are just about set for kickoff between the Braves, who are the #1 team in the state of California, and the Mater Dei Monarchs, the #3 team in the state. The Braves won the toss and elected to defer, so it'll be Reed Budrovich kicking off for the Braves. Most of these, as we know, go back into the end zone for touchbacks. Jonathan Lockett, the highly touted recruit out of Mater Dei, the Washington Husky commit, back to receive for the Monarchs. We once again are faced with a national TV game here tonight, and we'll have multiple breaks and pauses throughout the game, as right now we are getting set for kickoff, but we still have a commercial break. Nick, with these commercial breaks, how is it going to factor into the players' motivation and just a willingness to try to get this game started?
There's still a lot of energy here. We're talking about two of the top teams in California. Throw the loss, throw all the statistics out the window. This is still two of the top teams, not only in California, but also in the nation. We're talking in the Pac-5, which includes more than 5 teams, by the way. Mater Dei ranked number 3, Bosco ranked number 1. Any of these teams winning today puts themselves at the forefront of the Trinity League. And we all know that in this tough league, every win counts, including, as we saw last week, Mater Dei was favored by a huge margin to roll into this week at 8-0 on the season, letting a huge game slip right by them against another fantastic Trinity League opponent. We're ready for football, Chris. I'm ready to get this one started.
I think everybody is. 8,000 is the count on hand to watch these Braves take on these Monarchs, a budding rivalry in the Trinity League. The lefty kicker, Reed Budrovich, and the Bosco special teams line up. And we are ready for week 4 of Trinity League football. Budrovich aligns the kick and boots it back into the end zone for once again another touchback. And Chase Forrest and this Mater Dei offense will look to get it going early against Bosco's high-powered, tenacious defense.
Oh boy, the Bosco Braves certainly have a task on their hands. Chase Forrest, who is somewhat of a small quarterback, reminds me a lot of an NFL equivalent of perhaps Tony Romo. He's a guy that has deceptive speed coming off that edge. He can run the football, and he's also a gunslinger, a guy who's not afraid to fit the ball into triple, even quadruple coverage. We'll see how Forrest does on this first drive.
Well, Mater Dei, for so many years with Bruce Rollinson as head coach, out in the I formation, it's going to be a pitch, and it's going to be a trick play on the first play of the game. Getting it is Jonathan Lockett, but he'll only get himself about 3 yards to the 23. An absolutely fantastic job by the Bosco defense closing in on what very well could have been a big play.
Yeah, it very well could have, and the speed of the Bosco defense is going to be the question here. Bosco secondary hasn't been challenged whatsoever this year, so we'll see if Mater Dei tries to challenge them.
So Lockett gained about 4 on that play, and a 2nd and 6 upcoming for the Monarchs. It'll be Forrest under center. The main back tonight will be Justin Allen, the senior. Man in motion, and it's going to be a screen pass out to Matthew Rocket, but Rocket will only get himself about 1. And quickly here, Mater Dei is faced with a 3rd down.
Well, I question the decisions and the play calling for a team that can run the football so well. And for a quarterback like Forrest, who's thrown 6 interceptions in the last 4 weeks, I would go with what has worked for you all year long, which has been the ground game led by Justin Allen, the all-pro running back for Mater Dei, who's heading to the next level, too, at the NCAA level. I mentioned college, and I mentioned this defense. Bosco has so many defenders on the DB and out in the secondary that can make plays.
The handoff on a 3rd down is going to go to London Iacapo, and he will not get anything. Bosco forces Mater Dei on a 3-and-out.
I want to praise the defense, but also a terrible game plan on the first drive for an offense that only scored 7 points last week, coming out with 2 pass plays out wide. I mentioned this secondary prolific. All of their DBs, all of their starters are heading on to college. We mentioned Nigel Hale, which will be one-on-one with Ben Humphreys. He'll be locked up today with the star receiver for Mater Dei.
Well, meanwhile, on the punt, it's going to be a fake, and Mater Dei fails to get it. Jacob Welsh got the direct snap on the fake punt, and Bosco snuffs it out and is going to take over with prime field position here at the Mater Dei 29. I do not understand that decision whatsoever.
Well, me neither, but sometimes the hype, the added crowd, I mean, don't let this fool you. This is a crowd jam-packed tonight, and they have not shut up for the last 15 minutes. This crowd has been so excited for tonight's ball game, being the game of the week in the state of California. We'll take a look at what this offense has to offer, but if it's anything like Mater Dei's, this team might be in trouble.
So Bosco will start at the Mater Dei 29. It's going to be a keeper from Rosen. Rosen gets up the middle and will get himself about 7 yards. As we've known all season long, Josh Rosen, more of a pro-style quarterback, but he is a smart runner.
Boy, absolutely. One aspect that is completely underrated is Rosen's running ability.
2nd and 3 now for Bosco after that pickup of 7. The handoff's going to go to sophomore Sean McGrew, who almost broke loose, but he got enough for a first down. And here's Bosco already in the red zone. 9:25 to go. First quarter, no score.
For being such a prolific offense, and yet again, this team's going no huddle, for being such a prolific passing attack that the St. John Bosco Braves have to offer, what has been underrated is a sophomore running back by the name of Sean McGrew, who has been in the national spotlight this season. He makes a big play there.
Out of the gun comes Rosen. It's a pistol set. McGrew, the lone back. Looks like trips right for the Braves. 3 receivers out there is DJ Morgan, Shea Fields, and Jaleel Wadoud. It's going to be a pitch to Sean McGrew. McGrew to the outside. He's a speedster, and he's taken down right around the 5-yard line. That should be enough for another first down for St. John Bosco. It'll be a close spot. And appears Bosco's a couple inches short of the first down, so 2nd and short here. Just under 9 minutes to play in the first quarter. No score, Bosco Mater Dei. Bosco got a 3 and out on Mater Dei. Mater Dei tried a fake punt, didn't work, and gave Bosco prime field position. Here they are, a 2nd and 1 at the Mater Dei 7. Handoff's going to go to McGrew. McGrew tripped up right at the line. And the ball came loose, and Mater Dei has the football. Oh my goodness. Did not see that one coming. Sean McGrew fumbles for the first time this season. And Mater Dei gets an absolutely huge turnover when it looks like their backs were up against the wall here early. 1st and 10 Monarchs at their own 7.
Huge turnover. McGrew, who has been so reliable all year long, shows his youth there. He's only a sophomore, and McGrew certainly with a huge mistake there. In this series between Mater Dei and St. John Bosco, the Braves have beaten these Monarchs the last 2 times, but on a series note, the Monarchs have defeated these Braves 6 consecutive times since the series started in 2004. Bosco still holds a losing record against this team, and certainly has a huge, costly mistake there. Sean McGrew fumbling the football. Boy, with a loss here today, the Braves cannot afford to lose this game. Absolutely, they do have the lead in the Trinity play, but a loss would certainly go a long way for their playoff seedings and also a future play after the regular season. Huge, costly fumble there, Chris, by our offense.
Well, Mater Dei takes their first time out of the half with 8:19 to go in the first quarter. Crazy way to start what should be a crazy game. You saw the fake punt with Mater Dei. Bosco snuffed it out. They got the ball at the Mater Dei 29. They drove down to the 7. Sean McGrew fumbles for the first time all season long. You know, it's always a possibility on a run against such a good defense, but Sean McGrew fumbling kind of surprises me right there because he is a premier running back, and Mater Dei comes up with an absolutely huge turnover early in the game to switch the momentum back to their side.
Yes, it did switch the momentum, and it is very surprising to see Sean McGrew fumble the ball. We'll have to see how his confidence is now after having some pretty good games but fumbling to end the drive, so we'll see going forward how he feels about the rest of the game.
The luxury for Jason Negro is that he does have 3 backs, and Manesse Anesi, Sean McGrew, and Clifford Sims, so we'll see if he decides to shuffle it up a bit. Back out onto the field comes Chase Forrest in the Mater Dei offense. They're at their own 7, a 1st and 10 for the Monarchs after the fumble recovery. Forrest is going to pass, and it's a screen pass out to the left. Only a gain of 2 that time. On the catch was number 83, Kyle Peniston, the junior tight end. And it's a 2nd and 7 upcoming here for Mater Dei. Mater Dei not really going to throw the ball downfield all that much. They're going to work off those short little screen passes to the tight ends and the wide receivers, but they have some athletes at wide receiver and tight end that can get them yards after the catch.
They really do, but they certainly are sending a message in these first couple of drives by testing these DBs that can indeed make some plays. I've been surprised at the urgency to throw it to these DBs that really can create some big-time turnovers they have all season long.
It's going to be a pitch to the outside. It's going to be number 25, Dalvin Jones-Fave. And it'll be a third and about 4 upcoming here for Mater Dei. So very conservative early. When you're back in the shadows of your own goalpost, you don't want to turn over the ball here if you're Mater Dei and give Bosco once again good field position, despite the fact that they did turn the ball over on their last offensive possession, did Bosco.
Yeah, you wish that off of this turnover, Mater Dei can certainly either create some first downs or at least not fumble the football, or like we saw last time on a fake punt. This team certainly needs to get going early offensively because their defense cannot hold Bosco the entire game. You can't count on that happening.
Out of the gun comes Forrest. He's going to be flushed out to the left. He's going to throw, and he has a completion and a Mater Dei first down. Andres Udria, the junior who doesn't see much time at wide receiver, catches only his 4th pass of the season, but it's good enough for a Monarch first down, and a big first down for Mater Dei at that.
Yeah, huge first down. If they were to punt the football again, that would just be playing into the hands of the Braves. That offensively, despite the turnovers, they drove the ball at will against this defense, but they have against every defense all season long. Boy, Mater Dei just needs to convert third downs to first downs if they have a chance.
Well, they did a great job at doing it there. Forrest very composed back in the pocket. You can see why people compare him to Tony Romo, as you mentioned in the intro. 1st and 10 from the Monarchs from their own 19. It's going to be a play action. Going deep is Chase Forrest for Jonathan Lockett, and he caught the football. What a catch by the Washington commit, all the way to the St. John Bosco 40-yard line. It was a handoff to the running back. The running back pitched it back to Chase Forrest, and Forrest launched one downfield, and Lockett came up with it. 1st and 10 Monarchs from the Bosco 40. A huge, huge gain right there of 41 yards through the air.
Yeah, that is a huge play, and we talked about St. John Bosco's secondary not being challenged very much, and we see them getting challenged right there, and they did not look very good on that play.
1st and 10 for the Monarchs at the Bosco 40. 6:32 left to go first quarter from St. John Bosco. We got a packed house here at Father Frank Rabata Field. Forrest out of the gun, faces pressure, and Ivan Martinez is going to get him in the backfield. The 3rd-year starter on the defensive line for the Braves comes up with an absolute huge sack. A loss of 14 makes this a 2nd and forever for Mater Dei. Ivan Martinez just got straight to Forrest. Forrest, a very elusive quarterback, couldn't even get away from the big defensive tackle.
He's huge. Shot out of a cannon right off of that interior of the defensive line. We don't talk a lot about Ivan Martinez or really anything outside of our secondary, but he's a guy who made a huge play there. And for a team that was driving down the field at will against St. John Bosco, a huge break there by the defense.
A 2nd and 24 now. Forrest pressured again. He's going to dump it off on a screen pass, and having room to the outside for a gain of 14 is once again Adrian Petrius, and it'll bring up a 3rd and 10 here for Mater Dei. Surprised we haven't seen Justin Allen yet so far here tonight, who's usually the prime back for the Monarchs.
Either him or Ben Humphreys. I have been very surprised on this drive that they have thrown the ball to so many unknown receivers and also haven't handed the ball to Justin Allen. A surprising first quarter by a team that wasn't even supposed to be competitive at all in today's game, making huge plays on a drive that continues starting from their own 7-yard line.
Mater Dei has it at the Bosco 42, and they fumble the football. Picking it up is Adrian Contreras, the running back, and he's smacked hard after a gain of 3, and it'll be an interesting decision here for Bruce Rawlinson on a 4th and 9 from the Bosco 39.
Yeah, that fumble was very, very lucky they got that fumble back, and now they have to go and punt the ball, and this is the first punt of the game we'll be seeing, and it'll be interesting to see how Bosco responds.
So Bosco holds despite the big pass play early in the drive from Forrest to Lockett. Back to punt is Tim Strader. Back to receive for Bosco is Brett Baldwin, who had a 75-yard touchdown punt return last year against these same Monarchs. Jaleel Wadoud's also back to receive it, and Brett Baldwin is going to let it bounce, and it's going to hop back into the end zone for a touchback. So Bosco will get the ball at the 20, and after the fumble from Sean McGrew, it'll be interesting to see how the Bosco offense responds when we get back. No score from Bosco Mater Dei. 4:17 left to go in the first quarter. Bosco's going to have the ball at their own 20 when we get back on the National Sports Radio Network.
Tonight's presentation of St. John Bosco football is brought to you by Tam's Pizzeria. Deliver, call in, and order. Just walk into the corner of Bellflower and Rosecrans for Tam's Pizzeria. They have it all. And highschoolscoreboard.com. All of your updated scores, news, and statistics all at one place. To get the app and registration, log on at highschoolscoreboard.com. Tam's Pizzeria is a proud sponsor of the St. John Bosco Football Radio Network. Tam's has it all. Pizza, wings, burgers, and more. Say Braves #1 when you order any specialty pizza and receive $2 off. Call in and order at 562-925-7700. Again, 562-925-7700. Walk-ins are always welcome as Tam's is located on the corner of Bellflower and Rosecrans. Tam's Pizzeria. They have it all. Catch every high school game this season with the High School Scoreboard app along with @St. John Bosco on Twitter as well. Now back to Bosco football with Chris Sylvester and Nick Rice.
Back here at Father Frankfurt Battlefield in Bellflower, California. 4:17 left to go in the first quarter between the Braves and the Monarchs. No score. It's been a very fun-filled first 8 minutes here from Bellflower, as we are just waiting to get this drive started for Bosco at their own 20-yard line after the Tim Strader punt that went back into the end zone for a touchback. So far in this game, we've seen a fake punt. We've seen a Bosco fumble, which doesn't happen very often. And we also saw a play where Chase Forrest handed off to his running back, Adrian Contreras. Contreras pitched it back to Forrest, and Forrest launched it downfield for Jonathan Lockett. So if that's any indication of what tonight's game will bring, you're in for a very good one.
Boy, absolutely. Yeah, we're set for another play, but it looks like these two teams will be down to the wire, Chris.
1st and 10, it's a play action. Rowinson's going deep for Shea Fields. Fields had both of his men beat, but Rosen overthrowing the USC commit that time. And it's 2nd and 10. Rosen just a little bit too much on that pass.
Yeah, that's a pass he needs to make. Shea Fields had burnt his defender, and he was wide open. Rosen just put too much on it. And right there, that's a quarterback mistake, not hitting your wide receiver.
2nd and 10 now for Bosco after the Rosen incompletion. He'll come out of the gun, and he'll hand off to Sean McGrew, who fights his way to the 23 for a gain of 3. And here upcoming now for Bosco, under 4 minutes to go in the first quarter, is a 3rd and 7. How big would it be for Mater Dei to get a stop?
It'd be huge to see them get a stop, because that would put the momentum in their favor, which they lost having to punt to St. John Bosco on their last drive.
A 3rd and 7 here for St. John Bosco from their own 23. The Mater Dei crowd getting loud here on 3rd down, hoping their defense can come up with a huge stop. Rosen out of the gun. McGrew the lone back. Rosen's going to go back to pass, faces pressure. Rosen under pressure, has the pass tipped and almost intercepted, but nobody was in the vicinity of the tipped football, and it falls to the ground. 4th and 7. And Richard Cole, who attended Mater Dei his freshman year, on to punt against his former squad. Great 3 and out that time forced by the Mater Dei D.
Great job defensively, and they're going to have to look for a little more effort out of Jonathan Lockett. The story of today's game is that he has challenged Shea Fields, USC commit, to create plays against him. So far, 0 catches for Fields.
The punt's going to go over the head of Cole. Cole's going to just kick it, and that's going to be a flag, and I believe that's going to be a safety as well.
Wow.
The center and long snapper is Elijah Zabladov, who is usually spot on when it comes to snapping the football to Richard Cole, but that time it went over the head of the Braves punter. And Cole kicked it out of the end zone just in hopes that Mater Dei wouldn't recover the football. There's been no signal yet from the referee that there is a safety, but I believe there should be a safety on that play.
By rule, this should be a safety. We've seen spot-on long snapping all year long by this Brave team. They do indeed call it a safety. This has been an ugly first quarter for the Braves, who last week looked so efficient outside of a couple of wayward passes by Rosen. It's been the second consecutive week we've seen Rosen flustered immediately in the pocket and making decisions that I haven't seen him make all year long. This quarterback's got to get his act together, as the Braves are going to kick it off to the Monarchs up by 2 with a chance to drive down the field again. And you may want to look out for Jonathan Lockett, who just made a huge play last drive.
An unusual mistake on special teams for Bosco has given Mater Dei a 2-0 edge here. 3:17 left to go, first quarter. This is the second consecutive season Mater Dei has forced a safety on St. John Bosco. Last year, it was also an interesting situation when an intentional grounding was called on Josh Rosen in the end zone, which resulted in a safety. Last year, of course, Bosco defeating Mater Dei 28-20 at Santa Ana Stadium, the home of the Monarchs. And like you mentioned, Nick, Bosco has won the last 2 meetings, pretty much dominating both the games, but this appears to be a fired-up, different Mater Dei squad tonight. It's 2-0 Monarchs, 3:17 left to go, and with the safety, it'll be Reed Budjevich trying to launch it as far as he can from his own 20, which is 20 yards deeper than he's used to on the normal kickoff.
Boy, this Brave team, don't get it twisted. We're in for a fight tonight between the Monarchs and the Braves. Just from what I've seen in the first quarter, this is 2 evenly matched football teams matching up very well, mano-a-mano, a fantastic pass defense in the Braves that matches up very well against 2 electric receivers in Ben Humphreys and also Jonathan Lockett, who's playing both ways tonight as well. And also for the Braves, ill-advised plays by Josh Rosen, and the fumble is the reason why right now we see the Braves down 2-0 and kicking off again.
We have a baseball score from Bellflower. 2-0. 3:17 left to go, first quarter. Budjevich kicking from his own 20. Rocket and Lockett, not to be confused, back to receive for the Monarchs. Budjevich shoots this line drive in the direction of Jonathan Lockett. He'll pick it up on a hop at the 10-yard line. He's going to jog to the outside, and Jonathan Lockett breaks loose, and he's all the way up to the Mater Dei 41. A good return that time from the Washington commit. And Chase Forrest and the Monarchs will have themselves prime field position here, already up 2-0 with 3:10 to go in the first quarter.
This is a huge game in the Trinity League. We will give you other scores around this very competitive Trinity League when we get them to you. Chris Sylvester and Nick Rice, along with Adam Ferrister on tap, will give you other scores from around the Trinity League, as I mentioned, as you need to keep it here. It's Spreaker.com's own national sports. This is a fantastic game, Chris, not to mention 2 of the top teams in the Trinity League.
I think both these teams have been waiting all year for this game. Certainly one, as a player, you circle on your schedule each and every season, as Forrest is going to keep it. Forrest gets to the outside. Braves miss a couple of tackles and finally bring down Chase at the 45-yard line. Gain of 4 that time. Forrest, haven't seen him elusive too much so far tonight, but we saw him right there on the read option gain. 4 yards, a modest gain on first down for Mater Dei. That's what they need to do, pick up small yardage and move downfield against this Bosco D.
That's what I've said all year, is teams need to stop thinking about the long yardage and just focus on short yardage, because if you focus on the short, the long will come. And right there we saw a very good game.
2nd and 5 here for the Monarchs. Chase Forrest on that gain. Just power sets is what you're going to see all night from Bruce Rollinson's team. It's going to be London Iacopo getting to the outside, and it appears that he has himself a modern day first down into St. John Bosco territory. A late flag flies in.
Tackle made by number 2, Jaleel Wade. Flag in the field.
Most likely some extracurricular activity after the play, which you'd expect in such a dogfight that this has turned out to be so far here tonight. 2-0 Monarchs, 2:13 to go. We'll wait for the call. It'll be unsportsmanlike conduct on the Monarchs, but I believe they did pick up the first down, and I believe the call was after the play, so it'll be a 1st and 25 for Mater Dei, if I am correct.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of extracurricular out of both of these teams, and it really plays in the hands of the Braves, who are frankly a much cleaner team than the Monarchs. They're being such big underdogs. Mater Dei seems to come into this game, despite being so clean on the defensive side. They also are creating a couple of extra after the whistle plays that I don't really prefer, being on such two good teams. Boy, 2-0 really demonstrates the defensive struggle out of both of these contenders here in the Trinity League.
So instead of a 1st and 25, it'll be a 1st and 10. But back that one up 15 yards. Mater Dei's back at their own 35. It's a play action. Forrest rolls out. Forrest throws, and it's almost intercepted by Jaleel Wadoud. He had his hands on it, but couldn't get him extended enough. 2nd and 10 after the incompletion from Chase Forrest, who threw a dangerous pass there.
That was very dangerous and very well could have been picked off. Lucky it wasn't.
That unsportsmanlike conduct, as this is 2nd and 10 at their own 35. You just can't do that in this type of game.
Absolutely huge. And on that last play, I do like the fact that they were targeting Justin Norbeck, who's a solid tight end, but that's about all I liked on that play. Another gunsling type of throw by Chase Forrest, thrown it into double coverage there, and it almost was an interception.
Matthew Rockets in motion here on a 2nd and 10. Fumble on the snap, but then the handoff is given to London Iacopo. He'll get himself 4 yards, and it'll be a 3rd and 6 here for Mater Dei. 3rd and 6, that's a manageable situation for the Monarchs just because they're so good at running with that power set as well as dumping off those little screen passes and getting the tight ends involved. I mean, that's what Bruce Rollinson's been about his whole career while he's been coaching Mater Dei for all these years, and he's really implemented this system really well this season. Surprised to see that the Monarchs only put up 7 points in their last game, but they're having their way so far with this Bosco defense tonight. 3rd and 5. Forrest comes out with no backs. It's going to be a pass to Justin Norbeck, and Norbeck pushes his way across and has himself a first down for the Monarchs to their own 46-yard line.
You mentioned Bruce Rollinson and the fact that he has really helped out this offense. This was a coach that went 4-6 in 2011 and then, quote, as from the LA Times, completely stripped the entire program. He revitalized not only this school but also the coaching staff. He's implemented different nutrition and other strategies to help best fit his team and his players. Obviously, in this game, he's done a very good job at going to the strengths of his football players.
This time it'll be the handoff to Alex Contreras, and Contreras will get himself about 5 yards, running behind that big Mater Dei offensive line. 2-0 Monarchs lead with under 45 seconds left to go here in the first quarter from Bellflower, California. We've got a packed house. Chris Sylvester, Adam Ferrister, Nick Rice here with you from the SJB broadcast team. We've been with you guys all season long here on Spreaker.com/National Sports. But Mater Dei, Adam, has always been known for having a big offensive line. They faced their toughest test in Bosco's defensive line. We'll continue this conversation after this next play as Mater Dei's offense continues to move quickly. Forrest is going to get hit hard and bounce a pass to the intended receiver, Justin Norbeck. Jason Lucero, along with Jacob Tiote Mariner, bringing the pressure that time for a Braves. 3rd down coming up, but Adam, like I was saying before that last play, Mater Dei's always had a good big offensive line, and they're doing a great job at protecting Forest so far here tonight.
Yes, they have, and they are notorious for just being a big, brute kind of team, and we see it here, and usually we see the defensive line of Bosco getting penetration very easily. We're not seeing that tonight. We'll see how it plays on later in the game if the big offensive line can keep the defensive line from getting pressure like we saw in that last play.
3rd and 5, another critical third down. Bosco needs a stop. Already down 2-0 after the safety, and the pass is incomplete. Nigel Hale had great coverage that time on Ben Humphreys, and Mater Dei will be most likely forced to punt here, and sure enough, Bruce Rawlinson's going to send out Tim Strader to boot off his second one of the night. 9 seconds left in the first quarter, 2-0 Mater Dei.
Hard to catch a pass when that ball is headed towards the stands. That was just a wayward decision by the quarterback. It's been fantastic coverage, and I'm not surprised that it has been for the Braves, but it's been really nice coverage by this defense. Outside of one long play by Jonathan Lockett, these receivers have been blanketed for the entire first quarter, which is why we see these Monarchs struggling to score anything offensively, being shut out on the offensive side.
Well, Bosco will take their first time out of the half, and so will we. It's 2-0 Mater Dei. Bosco will be receiving the punt when we get back. 8 seconds left first quarter. The Monarchs on top of the Braves, 2-0. Come on back to the Spreaker.com National Sports Radio Network.
Tam's Pizzeria is a proud sponsor of the St. John Bosco Football Radio Network. Tam's has it all: pizza, wings, burgers, and more. Say Braves #1 when you order any specialty pizza and receive $2 off. Call in and order at 562-925-7700. Again, 562-925-7700. Walk-ins are always welcome, as Tam's is located on the corner of Bellflower and Rosecrans. Tam's Pizzeria. They have it all.
Back here at Father Frank Rabata Field, Tim Strader on to punt, and he boots this one away, and this one will hop back into the end zone for a touchback. So second time tonight, Strader has hit the ball pretty well off of his foot, but second time tonight, it's all for naught, as Bosco will start at their own 20. 1 second left to go here in the first quarter. 2-0. Mater Dei leading St. John Bosco. I don't know if this was even the realm of possibilities coming into the game as far as after first quarter predictions.
Safety's all we have on the boards here. We'll take a look at a very exciting second quarter right after this play. Josh Rosen, an ill-advised first quarter, as we've seen some wayward passes, and a quarterback that looks flustered against this Mater Dei defense.
1st and 10 for Bosco at their own 20. It's going to be a handoff to Jaleel Wadood on a reverse, and Wadood is loose. Wadood down the sidelines, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, makes a cut, and he's taken down inside the St. John Bosco 25. Huge play to end the first quarter for the Braves. Jaleel Wadood taking it from Bosco's own 20 all the way to Mater Dei's 25. And if that's any indication of how the second quarter is going to go, we're going to have a good one for you here from Bellflower, California. It's Mater Dei 2, St. John Bosco nothing, but the Braves are driving on the national sports radio station. Second quarter action coming up right after this.
Tonight's presentation of St. John Bosco football is brought to you by Tam's Pizzeria. Deliver, call in, and order. Just walk into the corner of Bellflower and Rosecrans for Tam's Pizzeria. They have it all. And highschoolscoreboard.com. All of your updated scores, news, and statistics all at one place. To get the app and registration, log on at highschoolscoreboard.com.
Back here at St. John Bosco High School, 2-0. The Mater Dei Monarchs leading the St. John Bosco Braves here. A safety that happened when Richard Cole, the St. John Bosco punter, had a punt go over his head and just kicked it back, so Mater Dei wouldn't get 7 instead of 2. Smart play from Cole to do that. But nonetheless, the Monarchs leading 2-0 here. First time Bosco's been held scoreless in the first quarter all season long. And while we're getting ready to start this second quarter, Nick, you have a score from Orange Lutheran Santa Margarita, and a surprising one at that.
Yeah, well, these are a couple of 1 and 2 teams trying to battle from the bottom of the division to make some sort of a stand and create a situation really hard for the guys up in the booth to try and figure out exactly who will advance to the playoffs in the Trinity League. But between Orange Lutheran and Santa Margarita, a team that I believe could make its way out of the humps to getting a spot in the postseason, which Orange Lutheran, a team that stood very tough against these same Braves 2 weeks earlier. Currently, it's Orange Lutheran 27 and the Santa Margarita Eagles 7, a team that against Mater Dei just last week put a whooping on these guys, a 16-7 drubbing. So now, Chris, with this score, and if Olu can certainly pull it off, do you believe that this team, these Lancers, can come in next week, get a win, and move on to the postseason?
Absolutely. I mean, that score really surprises me. 27-7 at Santa Margarita after Margarita's fresh off of a huge win at Mater Dei. Back to this one. 1st and 10 for the Braves at the Monarchs 30. It's going to be a play action. Rosen drops back. Rosen faces pressure. He goes towards the end zone, and the pass is intercepted. Jonathan Lockett, the Washington commit, comes up with the pick. Rosen throws his 3rd interception of the season, and that time he just plain overshot Shea Fields, who really, it was a jump ball towards Fields, but he threw it right to Jonathan Lockett, and another turnover by St. John Bosco, their second of the night, gives Mater Dei the ball back at their own 20. Monarchs leading 2-0, 11:52, second quarter.
Yeah, can't blame the fog on that one. Rosen just overthrew him. He had Shea Fields, but just pretty much threw it right to Lockett instead of Shea Fields in the end zone.
Second consecutive week, we've seen Josh Rosen very erratic passing the football, and when you're playing a team like Mater Dei, that just can't happen. Don't be surprised if we see Andrew Katnick here coming in soon for St. John Bosco. Mater Dei once again has the football after the Braves turn it over for the second time tonight. It's the big fullback, Malik McMorris, getting a tough 2 yards for a 2nd and 8.
Do you really think Andrew Katnick will come into this game and substitute one of the top quarterbacks in the Trinity League?
I'll tell you what, man, it's a possibility.
This guy's completing 70% of his passes and still just drove his team all the way down the field. Andrew Katnick's the answer?
It very well could be. It'll be interesting to see what Chad Johnson decides to do on the upcoming offensive drives, because Josh Rosen just hasn't been on point the last couple of weeks. 2nd and 8 here for the Monarchs. 11:10 to go, second quarter. Monarchs leading the Braves 2-0, and it's going to be a handoff this time to Alex Contreras. And he will have himself a Mater Dei first down. So once again, Contreras not really getting too much of a burst that time, but he runs behind that big offensive line, pushing back that St. John Bosco defensive line, and it gets him 8 yards for a Mater Dei first down.
Outside of a guy like Ivan Martinez sacking the quarterback, this has been a defensive line that has been pushed back time and time again. Certainly Mater Dei has the answers on the offensive line. We'll see what they do in the passing game here, leading 2-0.
Out of the gun comes Forrest. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Pistol set here, and it's going to be Forrest dropping back, facing pressure. Forrest is going to go deep, and Ben Humphreys got tripped up with Nigel Hale, the Arizona commit. No flag on the play, and a good no call, because a lot of times in that situation you'll see a pass interference call. That was just the instance where the corner got tangled up with the wide receiver.
Yeah, they did, and that's just incidental contact, and both offense and defense has a right to the ball, and they were both looking towards the ball, so that's why there was not a flag on that play. Very good no call.
2-0. Mater Dei leading at St. John Bosco in front of a absolutely packed house. 10:29 to go, second quarter. Chris Sylvester, Nick Rice, Adam Ferrister here with you tonight on the national sports radio station, CIF football for St. John Bosco all season long here on the audio, and Forrest will keep for a gain of 5 and a 3rd and 5 upcoming. I'd say Bosco needs a stop here.
Yeah, they do need to stop right here in order to get the ball back. That interception really took some momentum out of their drive that Jaleel Wadu had, and now they need to get that momentum back. The defense needs to lead this team right now because the offense isn't being very productive right now.
So the Braves trailing by 2-0, under 10 minutes to go, second quarter. Have the Monarchs at a 3rd and 5 from Mater Dei's own 35. Forrest comes out of the gun. No back set. He's all alone, and he throws a bullet to the outside, and it's going to be very close to a Mater Dei first down. Number 15, Jacob Welch, caught the football, and it'll be interesting to see where the referees spot this one. But I do believe Mater Dei picked up, or maybe not. They're spotting him a little bit short.
Ball is spotted on the Monarch 39-yard line.
Ball spotted on the 39 of Mater Dei, and it looks like the first down marker's right at the 40. And if there's ever an appropriate time to call a 4th and inches, it's right here.
Yeah, well, I'm not really liking your decision-making so far this quarter. Let's bench our starting quarterback and go for it on 4th and inches after not getting it last time. I'm sorry, Chris. There's a reason why you're here and the coaches are down there.
That's very true. That's very true.
Absolutely.
Well, Mater Dei is going to send out the punting unit here. It'll be Tim Strader back to kick it. Let's not forget, on the Monarchs' first drive, they did attempt a fake punt, and the Braves snuffed it out. It'll be interesting to see what's done here on a 4th and inches. Strader is going to boot this one off. Back to receive is Jaleel Wadud. Wadud is going to let it bounce, and it takes a great Mater Dei hop, and it's going to hop all the way down to the 10-yard line. So Tim Strader comes up with a fantastic punt, and the Bosco offense will start at their own 10. Monarchs forcing Bosco to have to drive 90 yards if they want to put up a touchdown score. 9:26 left to go. 2-0, Monarchs leading the Braves.
For Strader to kick his career long on the season, now is a good time to do it. A guy that isn't exactly a powerful bootleg that we see out of our own Bosco Brave punters and kickers, but a guy that certainly can get a nice bounce, would certainly be a nice job here, as he does, putting him inside the 10.
Well, Bosco will keep it with Rosen. It's going to be a screen pass to the outside, and only a gain of 2 that time. Jaleel Wadud, the Cal commit, caught it. 2nd and 8 upcoming for St. John Bosco. So maybe that's what Rosen needs to boost his confidence, a little bit of short screens, let his receivers do some work. Then maybe you take another shot downfield.
Yeah, the receivers need to help Rosen out here, who isn't having a great game, so they think he should continue with the short passes.
2-0, the Monarchs leading the Braves. Sean McGrew gets the handoff and has a burst up the middle, and it'll be close to a first down, and sure enough, it is a first down for St. John Bosco. So perhaps Sean McGrew regaining a little bit of confidence after his first career fumble a couple of drives ago.
Absolutely. Another guy who's certainly making some plays this half is Adam Davis, linebacker for these Monarchs, who is a senior. He's coming back and being the anchor on that linebacking unit. Leads the team in tackles, also leads the team in interceptions. Fantastic guy who can also play fullback on this Monarch team. Fantastic play by an all-pro at linebacker.
1st and 10 for Bosco after the McGrew run for the first down, and this time McGrew's eaten up in the backfield for a loss of 1. So when you're a small guy like Sean McGrew and you get tangled up in the backfield like that, there's really nothing you can do than just hold on to the football and drop to the ground.
No, and that's smart to just hang on to the football because he did fumble, and so I'm sure he's a little concerned with hanging on to the ball. So smart to just not try to make something out of nothing when you're that small and just secure the football.
Rosen comes out of the gun here on a 2nd and 11. It's going to be a play action. He throws and has a wide open Shayfield. Shayfield's over the middle, and Shayfield's is close to a first down. Mater Dei claiming the ball came out, but he was clearly down before the ball popped loose, and it'll be a 3rd and short here for St. John Bosco, but the referees, they're moving the chains, so another first down. A lot of questionable ball spots so far here from the officials.
Yeah, and also questionable after post-play curricular activity for this Monarch team, who already got flagged once for unnecessary roughness. This is a scrappy unit that has forced a couple turnovers. We'll see exactly how the penalty flags play in, as it's been a scrappy unit so far in the first half, as the Monarchs defense forcing a 2-0 lead.
Rosen comes out of the gun. He'll hand off to Nas, and Nas will get himself a yard, 2nd and 9. So we've been talking all night about Mater Dei's offensive line. Their defensive line has really been doing a good job at pressuring Josh Rosen and stopping the run.
They really have. You can credit the interceptions and bad passes to that defensive line, who's caused a lot of pressure on Josh Rosen. The first time we've really seen the Braves struggle with the defensive line.
Out of the gun comes Rosen. It'll be Nas again with the carry. Nas gets to the outside, and Anesi gets up to the 40-yard line, and it'll be very close to a Bosco first down. And sure enough, the referees are going to give him the ball spot and give him a 1st and 10 for the Braves. Bosco finally starting to really get something going on the offensive side of the football. 6:35 left to go, second quarter, 2-0. Mater Dei leading on a safety that occurred in the first quarter. Nas once again gets the handoff, and he busts himself out towards midfield, a gain of 9 that time, and the power back for the Braves, getting a lot of carries on this drive and getting a lot of yards as well.
And Malik McNorris on that defensive line, who made the play earlier on in the drive, is tired, hands on his hips. I've seen him the entire drive panting with not only on his hips but also on his knees. He can barely breathe out there. Looks like Bosco either is going to take a timeout or take their time to snap this football. McNorris gave up a huge play on that last run, which is the only reason why this is a 2nd and 2 instead of a 2nd and 10.
2nd and 2 here from Bosco's own 48 for the Braves. It's going to be a play action. Rosen, a bullet pass out to Jaleel Wadoud, who makes a nice diving catch. And it appears he'll have enough for a first down for St. John Bosco. A 2nd and 2 there. All Bosco needed was 2, and they got it. 1st and 10 Braves.
Nice job on this drive. The Braves are actually looking like a balanced offense. Fantastic mix of run and pass, and they're certainly doing it through the help of Jaleel Wadoud, who is an all-pro for this Bosco Brave unit.
Bosco has moved into Mater Dei territory here at the 49. Handoff to Sean McGrew. McGrew has a big burst to the outside. The sophomore down the sidelines. He's got one man to beat. Dives. Touchdown Braves! Sean McGrew goes 49 yards for the score, and with 5:19 left to go in the second quarter, the Braves have a lead. It's 6-2.
Wow, what a great push by that offensive line for the Braves. Boy, Malik McNorris just got his bell rung for the second consecutive play, getting run over by that right side of the offensive line. Credit Chad Johnson, offensive coordinator for these Braves, that saw weakness in the defense, being that so fatigued Malik McNorris, who is the key on that defensive front, just running it right at him and makes some big plays for a touchdown. Sean McGrew following the fumble, Chris. Certainly capitalizes on his own mistake, scores a long touchdown, one of his longest on the season.
49 yards that time from the sophomore, who just took one cut to the outside. And I don't know how many times we've said it this season, but when Sean McGrew gets to the outside, he's as fast as any running back you'll see at any level.
We hadn't really seen Sean McGrew until that 89-yard run against Chandler, Arizona, and that's the first time we really saw his speed, and we see it right there again. Just that when he gets into the open field, he is faster than just about anybody else on that defense. Very good run by Sean McGrew. Way to look at the field above and find the holes and to just accelerate and dive into the end zone, securing the ball.
Well, the Braves have themselves a little bit of comfort now, up 7-2 with 5:19 left to go in the second quarter. Come on back, and Reed Budjovich will be kicking off for St. John Bosco. Sean McGrew punches one in from 49 yards out, and the Braves can relax a little bit. They lead 7-2, 5:19 to go, second quarter.
Tonight's presentation of St. John Bosco football is brought to you by Tam's Pizzeria. Deliver, call in, and order. Just walk into the corner of Bellflower and Rosecrans for Tam's Pizzeria. They have it all. And highschoolscoreboard.com. All of your updated scores, news, and statistics all at one place. To get the app and registration, log on at highschoolscoreboard.com. Catch every high school game this season with the High School Scoreboard app along with @St. John Bosco on Twitter as well. Now back to Bosco football with Chris Sylvester and Nick Rice.
Back here at St. John Bosco High School in Bellflower, California. 5:19 to go, second quarter. Braves leading the Monarchs 7-2 after Sean McGrew, the sophomore stud for St. John Bosco, bursted to the outside for a 49-yard TD scamper. Sean McGrew, a special sophomore for St. John Bosco.
He's a rare talent, absolutely. He has top-end speed that I have rarely seen out of a running back of that size. He's so short and low to the ground, yet those feet turn over so incredibly fast. That's how we saw him break out to the outside, and despite a very fast modern-day defense with a lot of all-pros in the secondary, nobody was able to catch Sean McGrew. Fantastic talent for the Bosco Braves. I mean, I don't mean to create any conclusions, Chris, but I believe Bosco has their running back of the future for the next couple years.
Absolutely. Jason Negro, got to be extremely happy about that. And one can only think that Sean McGrew's just going to get better. And bigger, right? I mean, he's only a sophomore. I mean, these kids are still growing. Reed Budrovich, meanwhile, boots it off. It's a line drive kick. I don't know if he meant to do that. Jonathan Lockett picks it up at the 5. Lockett busts through an open seam. Lockett breaks a couple of tackles and is finally down at the 27-yard line. The Washington commit has certainly shown his athleticism so far here tonight, juking and jamming on that kick return, and Chase Forrest and the modern-day offense will take over at their own 27.
Jonathan Lockett, who's making big plays not only in storylines this week, challenging Shea Fields. This is a guy that leads his team in receptions, leads his team in interceptions, and leads his team in kickoff return yardage. Does this kid remind me of Deion Sanders or what? He's number 21. He's so shifty and low to the ground. I can't believe that this guy, they have Deion Sanders on their team. Modern Day does.
It appears so, as Forrest on a play action is going to go to number 40, the fullback that time, Frank LaRiva.
Tackle made by number 2, Jaleel Wadu.
Modern Day, and the reason we're caught a little bit off guard by these guys' names, I mean, these are guys. Modern Day is really mixing it up. They're instituting a lot of guys on offense that don't usually see time.
No, the receiving yardage for this team is basically balanced among 8, 9, 10, 11 targets. It shows the coaching that they have done, Bruce Rollinson does, on this offensive side of the ball. They have really spread the ball around fantastically in the first half.
Well, there was a gain of 8 on that pass play to LaRiva. It's going to be a handoff this time for a first down for Modern Day.
Number 40, Frank
LaRiva apparently gets rewarded for that catch and gets one of his few carries on the season, but it's good enough for a Monarch first down. This is really interesting to see Bruce Rollinson really mixing it up as far as names go on the offensive side for the Monarchs, but it's working so far on this drive and really all night long.
Just to give you some sort of perspective, the Modern Day Monarchs have 4 listed fullbacks in this game. I haven't seen any football team have more than 1. This team hands it off to whoever decides to go in the backfield, and it's really paid dividends so far for the Monarchs in this game.
Under center comes Forrest. Forrest is going to hand off, and it'll be a gain of about 5 for Alex Contreras.
Adrian Contreras on the carry.
Gain of 5 that time right to the center field logo where it's SJB, a new thing for St. John Bosco instituted. It is a national TV game, so they decorated the field a little bit, would you say?
Yes, they did. They repainted and did a SJB in the center field and repainted the end zones to say Bosco Braves. Very, very nice looking. Very nice looking.
I think Bosco deserves it because this football team has certainly reached new heights this season, as it's going to be a play action. Forrest bullets a pass to Justin Norbeck, but he dropped it, and a 3rd and 5 upcoming. The gunslinger Chase Forrest had a wide open tight end that time, but it was too hot to handle, and a 3rd and 5, a key 3rd and 5 upcoming here for the Monarchs.
When there are plays to be made on offense for this team, the Monarchs have not made them. Right as this passing offense was about to take the next level, as this team has looked a whole lot different than last week. Now it's a 3rd down and 5, and it just seems to me like these are the same old Monarchs that lost last week in a drubbing against the Manta Margarita Eagles.
3rd and 5. The Bosco crowd gets loud on a 3rd down. It's going to be Forrest keeping it himself, and Forrest is close to a 1st down for the Monarchs. It'll be interesting to see where they spot it. And that's really the luxury that this modern-day team has. If you remember, last year the quarterback was Ryan McMahon. Where's Ryan McMahon now, you ask? In the minor league system of the Colorado Rockies. quite a change from going to a strictly passing quarterback in McMahon, who's more of a baseball talent, to a mobile guy like Chase Forrest. Certainly a luxury for Bruce Rawlinson. Forrest got 4 yards on that run, and it'll bring up a 4th and 1 from the St. John Bosco 46-yard line for Mater Dei. Under center comes Forrest, and a flag flies out, and it's going to be a delay of game, it looks like, on Mater Dei. Sure enough, it is. And with 2:22 left to go, Bosco leading 7-2. It'll be interesting to see if Bruce Rawlinson still wants to go for it after the 5-yard loss, and sure enough, he's going to send out the punting unit.
Yeah, it will be interesting, and we see right now, and it looks like they will go for a punt. Very, very costly, seeing as how they could have gotten a 4th down conversion, but now have to punt back to St. John Bosco right before half.
And with Bosco's quick-moving offense, 2 minutes is plenty of time to put another score on the board. 7-2, the Braves leading Mater Dei. Bosco's defense really has done a great job all night outside of that safety, but it really wasn't the defense's fault as Strader once again boots this one back into the end zone for a touchback, and Rosen and the offense will take over at the 20. But kind of recapping the game, if you're just joining us now, 7-2 Bosco leads, 2:15 to go here in the first half. We'll have the TAMS halftime report for you. We'll have scores from J. Sarah Servite, which is a crucial game in regards to Trinity League play, as well as Orange Lutheran Santa Margarita, in hopes of both of those teams hoping they can get to the playoffs. But in this game right here, we had a crazy first couple minutes of the first quarter that involved a fumble from Sean McGrew, an interception from Josh Rosen. We saw a snap over the head of the punter that resulted in 2 points for Mater Dei, the only 2 points that the Monarchs have so far. It's 7-2 now. It's calmed down just a little bit, but both of these teams still realistically have shots at wins, because both of these teams' defenses have really shored up and made sure that outside of that McGrew 49-yard touchdown run, there hasn't been any real big plays on both offensive sides of the ball.
Yeah, well, you guys are in for a treat, as we have some of the top talents, not only as a team, but also a couple of individuals that are among the top-ranked high school players in the nation. Shea Fields and Jonathan Lockett are locked up one-on-one as this offense will walk back onto the field. Shea Fields has 1 catch, Lockett has 1 interception. Those are 2 of the top high school recruits who are on their way to bigger and better things. Fields on to USC and Jonathan Lockett on to Washington. These 2 teams are fantastic, and you guys are in for a treat after a very long holiday night. Back up for some more Bosco football as this offense trots onto the field, Chris.
That's right. Can't believe Halloween was just last night. Here we are already in November, 9th game of the season. It's flown by extremely quickly. Can't believe we're already here. 2:15 left to go. Rosen and the Bosco offense will take over at the 20. Adam, if you're Bosco's offense here, you keep going with those screen passes and running the football?
Yeah, I would. It's been productive, and if it isn't broke, don't fix it.
Rosen's back to pass here. Rosen's pressured, and Rosen spins away from a sack. Now he'll throw it up, and Sean McGrew was in the vicinity. Very smart play that time from Josh Rosen to actually throw it in the vicinity of the receiver, as we've seen him get called for a couple of intentional groundings throughout his career at quarterback position here at Bosco.
Yes, we have, and that was very good. Not trying to make something that would have gotten the ball turned over, just living to see another day and throwing the ball out of bounds.
So Mater Dei has yet to get to Josh Rosen tonight. did a good job at spinning out of that would-be sack. 2nd and 10 now. 7-2, the Braves lead the Monarchs. It's going to be a delayed handoff to Sean McGrew, and the sophomore bursts to the outside and has a St. John Bosco first down at the 31.
Johnny Johnson, who was the Monarch of the Week last week, stopping would have been an even bigger run. But nevertheless, I'm very surprised that this defensive front, which is so massive, we're talking about all three of their defensive front over 250 pounds, and this team is running with authority in the second quarter, right up the middle, getting whatever they want out of this defensive front for the Monarchs.
Let's not forget that Bosco offensive line is pretty special as well, with guys like Emery Sefo and Damian Mama. 2-back set here. It's going to be a play action. Rosen looking and has his tight end, Angelo Quintero, for what looks to be another first down for the Braves. First time we've seen Quintero catch it tonight. A hot pass that time from Rosen, but Angelo able to hold on for a first down, St. John Bosco.
Very good hands by Angelo Quintero. That ball was a rocket, and he was able to hang on to it and get that first down. Very good job.
1st and 10 for the Braves. Perhaps Rosen settling in a bit here in the second quarter. Rosen pressured. Rosen throws it away, and the pass is incomplete. Malik McMorris caught it on the bounce. A lot of people thought that was an interception, but sure enough, the referees rule it incomplete. It did hit the ground before it hopped into the lap of Malik McMorris, and Rosen lucky that time that pass wasn't intercepted.
Very lucky. That is not what you want to see. Very bad decision by Josh Rosen. He's had a couple of them where he's tried to do something and it causes turnovers, and almost one right there.
7-2, St. John Bosco leading at home against Mater Dei. A packed house tonight at Father Frank Rabata Field. 1:22 left to go here in the first half. Bosco trying to extend their lead, and we have whistles, and it appears that St. John Bosco will take their second charge time out of the half, and sure enough, they will. When we get back, Bosco is driving down the field on this Mater Dei defense and is looking to add to their 7-2 lead with 1:22 left to go in the second quarter. Come on back to Bellflower for an exciting finish to the first half.
Tam's Pizzeria is a proud sponsor of the St. John Bosco Football Radio Network. Tam's has it all. Pizza, wings, burgers, and more. Say Braves #1 when you order any specialty pizza and receive $2 off. Call in and order at 562-925-7700. Again, 562-925-7700. Walk-ins are always welcome, as Tam's is located on the corner of Bellflower and Rosecrans. Tam's Pizzeria. They have it all. Catch every high school game this season with the High School Scoreboard app, along with @StJohnBosco on Twitter as well. Now back to Bosco football with Chris Sylvester and Nick Rice.
Back here at St. John Bosco High School, 1:22 left to go in the second quarter. The Braves leading the Monarchs 7-2 here. Bosco has themselves a 2nd and 10 on their own 42-yard line, looking to get themselves a little bit more breathing room heading into the locker room at halftime. They will be receiving the kick in the second half as well after winning the toss in the first half and electing to defer. Rosen this time is going to roll to the outside. Rosen has Shea Fields over the middle. The USC commit out into the open, has a big gain, and is inside the Mater Dei 35-yard line to the 32. Great job that time of Josh Rosen pretending like he was going to keep it, then finding a wide open Shea Fields over the middle. Fields did the rest, getting to the 34.
He's pretending like he's the Josh Rosen of old. We've never seen that so far in the last couple of weeks, and even most of the month of October. Nice job right there by the junior QB making senior-type plays.
This time it's going to be a screen pass out to Sean McGrew. There goes McGrew again! McGrew's gone! Touchdown Braves! Josh Rosen motioned out his sophomore running back to the left, found him on an easy hitch pattern, and Sean McGrew did the rest. He is so explosive when he gets an open hole, and with 59 seconds left to go here in the first half, Bosco extends it a bit. It's 13-2.
Sean McGrew is a talent, isn't he? Scores yet again on another long run for a touchdown. He was gone. He was gone. There was nobody within his sights. I haven't seen such a fast team in quite a long time. Bosco with the PAT. Up 14-2. Fantastic first half after an offense that looked so lethargic. Led by Josh Rosen, revitalizing that unit. And in my mind, if this Monarch team cannot create some sort of points, even though it's only in a 12-point game, in my mind, it's over. This offense can't get it done if they don't score right here before halftime.
You factor that in as much as Bosco also receiving it to start the second half. 59 seconds left to go. Reed Budrovich will be kicking off here in just a moment. But 14-2 now. Sean McGrew, a receiving touchdown as well as a rushing touchdown. This kid showing in front of a national audience that he can do it all.
Yes, he really is showing that, and at such a young age, it's really amazing to see a kid his both size and age doing things this special, doing 2 rushing touchdowns against one of the best teams in the state and in the nation for that matter.
So Josh Rosen finding his sophomore running back on a hitch pattern for a 34-yard score. Sophomore is certainly something very, very special and something that Jason Negro will have for the next couple of seasons as Budrovich's kick goes back into the end zone for a touchback. And with 59 seconds left to go here in the second quarter, Bosco leading 14-2. If you're Mater Dei, what do you look to do on the offensive end here? Do you try to go and get in field goal range to possibly tack on 3? Do you try to just gunsling it down the field with Forrest, or do you just try to run out the clock and take this thing to halftime at a 12-point deficit?
I think you'd want to just right now try to get the first down, but don't try to just gun it right now because Bosco still can have time to get the football and score because Reed Budrovich has such a strong leg. So it'll be interesting to see whether they want to try to get points right now or if they want to just run out the clock.
Well, out of the gun comes Forrest. It's a pistol set, 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Forrest comes out of the gun. Forrest places pressure. Now Forrest is going to step up and run. Forrest has speed. He's only going to get 3 that time. Couldn't find anything to the outside. And that clock's going to keep on running here on what looks to be about a 2nd and 7 after the Forrest keeper. Not really much urgency for Mater Dei to move quickly, and it appears that we could very well have this 14-2 score heading into the half.
Well, they're also taking out their starting quarterback, Chase Forrest. No, they're bringing him back in, but what they're going to bring him in for is basically waving the white flag, going into halftime down by 12. I don't like the call. It's an offense that really can't create much more than a decent running game. And now with 10 seconds clock running, they do indeed pass, but it might not be enough.
Forrest going deep, has Jonathan Lockett, and Lockett catches it. The Washington commit is certainly something special for Mater Dei as well. Second time tonight, a long bomb has gone down the field to the Washington commit. But Nick, you're over here shaking your head. Why did Mater Dei take all that time to run a play of that caliber?
I don't understand a lot of what they're doing in the first half. Maybe you can coach better than this guy can. I mean, he could have done that a long time ago. What they do is they waste 40 seconds off the clock and then air it out deep. I don't like the call, and I don't think their coach does either. Now they're going to have to take a shot to the end zone, as they will not let the field goal kicker try what would be a very long try for him.
Mater Dei is at the St. John Bosco 40, and it appears that the Braves will burn their final timeout to get set for that Hail Mary. We got a Hail Mary before halftime here at St. John Bosco High School. When we get back, 2 seconds left to go in the first half. The Braves leading the Monarchs 14-12.
Catch every high school game this season with the High School Scoreboard app, along with @StJohnBosco on Twitter as well. Now back to Bosco football with Chris Sylvester and Nick Rice.
Back here at St. John Bosco High School, 2 seconds left to go here in this exciting first half. The Braves leading the Mater Dei Monarchs 14-2 here at Father Frank Rabata Field. Chris Sylvester, Adam Ferrister, Nick Rice, so happy to be with you here tonight, as we have been all season long on Spreaker.com's own national sports. It'll be Mater Dei from the Bosco 40 having one shot to get into the end zone here. You'd figure they'd target Jonathan Lockett, but maybe not, because you also have Ben Humphreys and a couple of other good receivers you could target in this situation. But really, if you're Mater Dei here, you gotta really do something special to get it past the very talented defensive backfield that St. John Bosco possesses. Bosco's only going to rush 3 here on a Hail Mary situation for Chase Forrest. Forrest is back to pass. Forrest is going to step up. Forrest goes over the middle, and Matthew Rocket can't catch it. Wouldn't have mattered anyways, because he wouldn't have gotten into the end zone. And that'll do it for the first half from Bellflower, California. It's been a good one, but the St. John Bosco Braves have dominated the last 12 minutes or so and take a 14-2 lead into the locker room. Stay tuned for the Tams halftime report with Nick Rice. He'll have scores from Jay Sarah and Servite, as well as a surprising score from Saddleback College between Orange Lutheran and Santa Margarita. Tams halftime report is next on the Spreaker.com National Sports Radio Network.
Tonight's presentation of St. John Bosco football is brought to you by Tam's Pizzeria. Deliver, call in, and order. Just walk into the corner of Bellflower and Rosecrans for Tam's Pizzeria. They have it all. And highschoolscoreboard.com. All of your updated scores, news, and statistics all at one place. To get the app and registration, log on at highschoolscoreboard.com. Welcome to the St. John Bosco Halftime Report, delivered by Tam's Pizzeria, a proud sponsor of the National Sports Radio station. Hello and welcome to the Tam's Pizzeria Halftime Report. Sean McGrew on a 49-yard scamper off the right sideline gave these Bosco Braves a 7-2 lead. Right there at the end of the first quarter, and they did not look back, turning around and scoring another touchdown as the sophomore running back McGrew. And it's 14-2 at halftime, an awkward score, but certainly a straightforward answer. The Braves are 2 quarters away from securing the Trinity League title. How about that, Chris? As we have Chris Sylvester and Nick Rice on tap for the halftime report. How about that? 14-2. Your thoughts on the first half, Chris, in a game that basically has been dominated by the Braves?
Certainly a weird first half, but it's been exciting as well. I mean, we saw a lot of trick plays from Mater Dei in the first quarter that included a failed fake punt and a couple of other interesting things that you don't see too often in high school football. But Bruce Rawlinson knows the urgency of this game for his boys after losing last week to Santa Margarita. Mater Dei really trying to do something special here to try to pull off the upset, but Bosco not having any of it, up 14-2, mostly in part of Sean McGrew, a rushing touchdown as well as a receiving one as well. I mean, you look at the stats, it'll show a 4-yard touchdown throw from Josh Rosen, but really it was all the legs of the sophomore running back for the Braves on that scamper to make it 14-2.
Sean McGrew's certainly done it all, but this is one of those kind of games, if you're Bruce Rawlinson, you wake up the next morning, if you don't win this game, basically a sleepless night. I don't even know if he's going to fall asleep if they do lose like this. The defense has forced 2 turnovers in the first half. This offense has rushed for nearly 100 yards and 2 big plays by Jonathan Lockett on the offensive side, and also a huge interception stalling what was a fantastic drive in the first quarter by Josh Rosen and that Brave offense. If you add all that together and you're still down by 12, you look back and it's just the key penalties on the defensive side that kept drives alive that the Braves capitalized on. It was failed assignments, and it was also on the offensive boards. A couple of turnovers and also the fake punt that really just was giving into the hands of the Braves. They ended up fumbling the football, but it's been that kind of a night for the Monarchs that come into this game with the offense playing so poorly, the Braves are, and to still be down by 12, in my mind, it's it shows the kind of frustration this team has had for the last 6 quarters. I mean, we go into last week offensively only scoring 7, and today's game only 2.
Yeah, I mean, Bosco's defense is pretty amazing.
It's fantastic.
It's fantastic. If it's not the best in the nation, it's certainly the best on the West Coast. And to hold Modern Day is nice. It's good. It's special. I don't know what you want to call it. But let's not forget, these same Monarchs were down 3-0 at the half last week to Santa Margarita. So certainly Modern Day offense just isn't really circulating well in the last couple of weeks. And I think that's due to the fact that Justin Allen hasn't played the last couple of weeks. Haven't seen him yet here tonight. He's dealing with an injury. We don't have a report on that. Never got a report from the coaching staff. We expected him to play, but we have not seen any of the senior star running back Justin Allen tonight, and I'm sure that's confused Bosco's defense, but at the same time, it's helpful when you don't have to go against such a talented running back like Justin Allen. And so far, the Braves have been able to stop the guys who are getting the carries, which is London Iacopo, who is headed to the next level, has an offer from Southern Utah, and as well as Adrian Contreras. He's gotten a lot of carries out of the backfield as well tonight as well. So, I mean, in the second half here, you got to think that Chase Forrest is going to have to really showcase his arm if Modern Day wants to come back and pull this upset.
It certainly is a compliment to Justin Allen that after his efforts, the quarterback play has suffered. The entire offense has taken a huge blow. And we are opening the comment board on Spreaker.com's national sports radio station, as you can leave your comments, leave your feeds, and also we will give you all of your answers, including scores from around the Trinity League. We'll take another quick break, as we have done that quite a bit here, as we have a packed crowd tonight. We'll be back for more Bosco football right after this. Tonight's presentation of St. John Bosco football is brought to you by Tam's Pizzeria. Deliver, call in, and order. Just walk into the corner of Bellflower and Rosecrans for Tam's Pizzeria. They have it all. And highschoolscoreboard.com. All of your updated scores, news, and statistics all at one place. To get the app and registration, log on at highschoolscoreboard.com. Welcome back to the Tam's Pizzeria Halftime Report. It's delivered by Tam's Pizzeria, where they have it all. Not only fantastic pizza, but a whole lot else. What do they have to offer down at the corner of Bellflower and Rosecrans for those Tam's Pizzeria customers?
Well, Tam's Pizzeria, they have it all: pizza, wings, burgers, and more. Also some helpful beverages. Who doesn't like a nice beverage every once in a while, right? And I mean, if you're here,
I gotta say something. I believe Bruce Rollinson needs a couple of those beverages after a performance like that in the first half.
Absolutely, and he doesn't have to walk far. Yeah. Sam's Pizzeria located just seconds away, driving distance, and if you want to walk, it'll take you a nice little 5-minute walk to get down to Sam's Pizzeria. Great employees. The owner is Jeff. We've been blessed to come to know him and support Sam's Pizzeria all season long here on Spreaker.com, an affiliation of National Sports.
No, it's a fantastic organization they have down there. I mean, they have perhaps one of the best pizza that don't come from the name brands, the Papa John's and the Pizza Huts. A fantastic joint. I really love. I enjoyed my time going down there, and being seconds away from the game, you could watch perhaps the best team in the country, and then go around and eat perhaps one of the best pizzas in the country.
Hey, absolutely. I mean, it's a great combination. Bellflower, not really a city when you hear it or see it on the map. It doesn't really stick out to you. Bosco's starting to give this city a name. Right. Tam's Pizzeria has been giving this city a name for the last couple of seasons, because that is some tasty, tasty pizza.
Tasty. Boy, not only does Pizzeria have it all, but also this team has it all.
Really?
I mean, and also not just the football team, Chris. I know you have more insight on this, but the other sports, and not only that, academically, this school is among the top all around.
Absolutely. This team has a top-ranked basketball team once again this season. This team won CIF title in basketball last year, graduated a couple Division I guys that went to the next level. Figure to do that again this year. They have a UConn commit. Well, UConn, a very big basketball school, not so much for football, but a very big basketball school. Daniel Hamilton, a senior, brother of Isaac Hamilton, who went off to UCLA after leading the Braves, like I said, to a CIF title last season in basketball. Soccer's always been consistent. Coach Sabet always has himself a great squad out there for the Braves soccer team. Cross country is an absolute powerhouse here. I don't know if you know this. Cross country's won 19 consecutive Trinity League titles.
Wow.
And fresh off a state title last year, Coach McIntosh does a fantastic job with the cross-country team. And, I mean, you factor in sports like baseball and tennis and golf as well. I mean, and water polo, can't forget about them, track. I mean, this school really has it all when it comes to athletics. And when you want to talk about academics, Casey Yazel has just recently come in here and taken over the principal spot. And he's done a good job changing a couple of things up around the school. But he's really improving this school to be amongst the highest as far as academic standards, not only in the state of California, but really across the nation. And having a fantastic football team to get you the publicity that it's getting you really helps.
Yeah. And also, I don't want to take away from the other team that we're covering tonight, Modern Day, another, not only reputation-wise, has had a fantastic academic program, but Modern Day, for the longest of time, has had a really nice football team. Has really, year in and year out, produced not only academically but athletically some of the top recruits in the nation.
You want to talk about guys getting to the next level? Ever heard of Matt Barkley?
Yeah.
Well, he went to Modern Day. Ever heard of Matt Leinert? He went to Modern Day. Those are just a couple of the many names that, attended this great high school of Modern Day, and Modern Day just as well as St. John Bosco. And not to, favor Modern Day at all here on the Bosco broadcast, but Modern Day consistently has the best basketball program in Southern California. Now, Coach Derek Taylor, Burrow Lee, our stat guy, he's the Burrow Lee, he's our stat guy for football. He's the head operations guy for basketball. They might differ with me, but Modern Day has won multiples. They're the De La Salle. What De La Salle is to California football, Modern Day is to California basketball. And Modern Day, as well as producing great athletes in football, they've produced a lot of Division I athletes in basketball, as well as baseball, as well as soccer. I mean, if you ever go over to that campus, beautiful campus on Edinger Avenue in Santa Ana, California, they really, I know TAMS has it all, but Modern Day has it all as well.
I mean, this broadcast has it all just like those other teams. I don't mean to have everybody have it all, but as we promised you, we'll give you scores from around Southern California. Sarah High School tied up against St. Francis. We mentioned Sarah, one of the top teams in the state of California. They're undefeated this season, all tied up at St. Francis. We'll keep you up to date on that score that is late in the third quarter. Long Beach Poly High School, 43-6 over Milliken in the fourth quarter with only 32 seconds. That one's in the books. Look for your Long Beach Poly High football team to move on to 7-1 in footballs this season. We'll get you to Trinity League scores later, but around the rest of the state of California, Oaks Christian High School, 42-14 at the end of the third quarter over Moore Park High School. And that'll move that team to 6-2 if they do indeed pull the upset there, winning on the road. Mission Viejo, 28-0 over Trabuco Hills High School. That game is in the fourth quarter. Helix High School certainly had no problem scoring points. 42-21 score as we are into the third quarter in that game. Folsom High School, 45-0 over Ponderosa. Boy, it's just been a drubbing there for a team that may indeed lose their fifth game in the regular season, midway through the third in that game. At the last 30 seconds of the third quarter, we're all tied up in Huntington as Los Alamitos is tied at 14 against Huntington. Boy, Huntington might pull up the upset after being 5-5 in regular season play. Santiago losing to the Centennial High by a mark of 40-21. Pleasant Grove is down to Oak Ridge. 21-7 is your score there. Valencia also 24-7 over Hart. That game is entering the fourth quarter. And then we'll get to your other Trinity League scores right after this. We'll take another quick break and get you back to more Bosco football. Thank you guys for listening. You are listening to Spreaker.com's National Sports. This is Chris Sylvester alongside your host, Nick Rice, for Halftime Report presented by Tam's Pizzeria. They do indeed have it all. Tonight's presentation of St. John Bosco football is brought to you by Tam's Pizzeria. Deliver, call in, and order. Just walk into the corner of Bellflower and Rosecrans for Tam's Pizzeria. They have it all. And highschoolscoreboard.com. All of your updated scores, news, and statistics all at one place. To get the app and registration, log on at highschoolscoreboard.com. If any team has indeed struggled to score points in the Trinity League, it has been J. Sarah. But in a game against one of the top teams in this league, Servite, who is 2-1 in Trinity League play this season, currently J. Sarah is leading 35-31 over those Servite, that Servite football team. We'll keep you up to date on the upset over there in J. Sarah. Fantastic outing for a team that has not won a game so far in the Trinity League, trying to create their mark and moving on next year. As we mentioned in the broadcast last week, they have a lot of guys that are young, unheralded, and a handful of freshmen that will be around on the varsity squad for a number of years. Other Trinity League scores, it was a battle of 1 and 2 teams. Orange Lutheran and Santa Margarita, two squads that with a loss will be bumped out of the playoff picture in the Trinity League, the very competitive Trinity League. Currently, Orange Lutheran's running away with that game, 47-14, with a victory. Orange Lutheran is 1 win away from perhaps clinching a spot in the playoffs. Chris, can you explain to me exactly what is the playoff scenarios for these teams as they enter the Trinity League?
Oh boy, when I became a broadcaster, I didn't really want to have to do problem solving like this, but it gets messy. If Bosco wins and holds on here tonight, they lead 14-2 over Mater Dei here at the half, and Servite can't come back against J. Sarah. J. Sarah leading Servite 35-31 right now. Bosco clinches its second consecutive Trinity League title. Now, if Servite comes back and beats J. Sarah, Bosco still wins tonight. Next week's game against Servite would be for a Trinity League title because both of these teams would be, or Bosco would be 4-0, Servite would be 3-1, and if Servite somehow came in here and won next week, you know, Servite would be 4-1, Bosco would be 4-1, Servite would own the tiebreaker and win Trinity League. As far as Orange Lutheran and Santa Margarita's playoff situations go, Santa Margarita, if they lose tonight, they're done because that would push them back to 1-3 in Trinity League play.
Basically, any team that loses in that game, Olu and Santa Margarita, two teams that are 1-2, a loss and you're out, right?
Absolutely. And Orange Lutheran coach Chuck Peterson doesn't want that. Doesn't want another year without the postseason, and it looks like that triple option is absolutely dominating Santa Margarita. And that surprises me after Santa Margarita went to Mater Dei and beat these same Monarchs last week. It's just so crazy the things that happen in the Trinity League football season, and I think that's why it's so fun to watch.
The key for their victory has been that triple option. We'll give you the keys to victory for this game between the Braves and the Monarchs right after a quick 30-second commercial. Stick with us. You are listening to the Spreaker.com's presentation of National Sports. Tonight's presentation of St. John Bosco football is brought to you by Tam's Pizzeria. Deliver, call in, and order. Just walk into the corner of Bellflower and Rosecrans for Tam's Pizzeria. They have it all. And highschoolscoreboard.com. All of your updated scores, news, and statistics all at one place. To get the app and registration, log on at highschoolscoreboard.com. Welcome back to St. John Bosco, one of the top teams in the nation, currently up 14-2 over the rival Mater Dei Monarchs. A loss would bump those same Monarchs to 3 consecutive losses to this Brave football team. After winning 6 straight dating back to 2004, it has been a struggle for these Monarchs, who have certainly rebounded in the Trinity League, but in order to rebound in this game, in my mind, they need to get the ball to Jonathan Lockett, who has 2 big-time catches and almost had a third, and also an interception, and leads this team in kick return yardage. He's been the benefactor of an offense that outside of him has looked very lethargic. A running game that doesn't look a whole lot better from last week. Their yards per carry is better, but this is an offense that in the last couple of weeks has failed to get over 300 yards of total offense, and it looked really bad last week against Santa Margarita. As for the Braves, the obvious answer is to run the football, but get the ball into the hands of Sean McGrew both in the running game and in the receiving game. They did that in the first half. Don't go away from what has worked for you. The Braves really have done a nice job getting McGrew out in space, and the sophomore running back has certainly made some plays. If we've confused you at all with all these scenarios in the first half, it's as simple as this. Bosco wins and you're in. If Mater Dei wins, they're basically in because of tiebreaker capabilities over the Bosco Braves and the fact that they have beaten some other good competitors in the Trinity League. We're not going to confuse you anymore. We are back with some more Bosco football after one more quick break. You're listening to Spreaker.com's version of National Sports, presented by Tam's Pizzeria, where they do indeed have it all. We'll give you all the second half as well right after this. Tam's Pizzeria is a proud sponsor of the St. John Bosco Football Radio Network. Tam's has it all. Pizza, wings, burgers, and more. Say Braves #1 when you order any specialty pizza and receive $2 off. Call in and order at 562-925-7700. Again, 562-925-7700. Walk-ins are always welcome as Tam's is located on the corner of Bellflower and Rosecrans. Tam's Pizzeria. They have it all.
Back here at St. John Bosco High School, we're just about set for second half action here. Bosco leading 14-2 and will be receiving the kick after they won the toss to start the game and deferred. It'll be Jonathan Schenk kicking it away and kicking it back into the end zone here for a touchback. And Josh Rosen and the Bosco offense will start at the 20-yard line. Already up 14-2. What do you look to do here if you're Rosen?
It's been a crisp and cool night, not only weather-wise, but in the second quarter for Josh Rosen. He's really, after a first quarter of erotic play, he threw the interception, a bonehead decision. That was, Lockett had Shea Fields covered in the back of the end zone. I don't care what you say there. The Bosco Braves need to have consistent quarterback play and continue to feed Sean McGrew the football. That's what you got to do to win this game.
Sean McGrew in the first half, of course, a 49-yard run, as well as a 34-yard catch, as he'll get the handoff here and get himself 5 yards out to the left. 2nd and 5 here. Rashid Williams coming up on the stop for the Monarchs. We're going to see a lot of Sean McGrew figure here in the second half after a first half of brilliance from the sophomore running back. Quickly moving is that Oregon-style offense that St. John Bosco runs. Rosen will change the play at the line and come back out of the gun. He's got a 3-receiver set to the right, and it's going to be the handoff to Sean McGrew, and McGrew bursts up the middle for a St. John Bosco first down.
Yeah, we see Sean McGrew again being the explosive running back that he is, very, very quick. And now we see Manesse and Nessie, also known as Nas, come into the game.
Certainly a luxury for Jason Negro to have all those running backs that can pick you up yardage in key situations. We've seen both McGrew and Nas so far here tonight get Bosco key carries for first down. Just started third quarter action. Bosco leading Mater Dei 14-2. Man in motion is Wadood. Rosen will motion him into the backfield, and Rosen will keep it, and Rosen dives towards the first down marker at the 40-yard line. It appears he's just a little bit short, and this will bring up a 2nd and about 1 here for St. John Bosco. So we've seen Rosen keep it a couple times tonight and get positive gains. 2nd and 1 here. It's going to be Nas, the big power back, getting up the middle, and it appears that he does have a first down for St. John Bosco. So that's the luxury of having a power back like Nas and a speedster like Sean McGrew. You can use Nas in situations like that and pick up 2nd and short for first downs.
Yeah, that's the luxury of having the power back. He gets the dirty yards, as we call them.
Hand off this time to Sean McGrew, and McGrew to the outside to the 48-yard line. Gain of 3 that time. Bosco quickly moving with this running game, and they're almost in Mater Dei territory. Less than 2 minutes in to the second half. 2nd and 6 on their own 48. Move the Braves. Two receivers each side for St. John Bosco. In the backfield with Rosen is Sean McGrew. Rosen once again slowing up that up-tempo offense by changing the play at the line. Rosen comes out of the gun. And it's going to be once again a handoff to Sean McGrew. McGrew to the outside before he's met by a wall.
Number 5, Sean McGrew.
He does get into Mater Dei territory to the 48. But a good job at Mater Dei's defensive line limiting that run.
Yeah, Mater Dei's defensive line has been very productive and done a very good job at stopping the run. Bosco has gotten both of their touchdowns on runs, but that was usually outside of the line. And other than those two plays, the line's done very well.
3rd and 1, it's going to be Noss on the carry, and Noss picks up another first down for St. John Bosco, gets all the way down to the Mater Dei 40. We had Noss on the post-game show last week, and he says he just loves barreling over defenders.
Yeah, says he does it for the linemen because they love that, and it makes them just try harder, and that's another good thing about that running back. He gets the linemen fired up.
Back at running back is Sean McGrew. Why not keep going to the run? McGrew up the middle. McGrew has a seam, and McGrew all the way down to the 25. Gain of 15. 1st and 10, St. John Bosco. Bosco is just running all over the Mater Dei defense.
You see that huge hole by the offensive line? They paved the way for a running back that is now over 100 yards rushing. Boy, back-to-back weeks where this running back has certainly got it done.
This time they'll go back with Noss, and Noss will only get himself about a yard. Perhaps Mater Dei's defensive line figuring after about 7 straight runs from St. John Bosco that's what their plan is to do, and they finally come up with a stop right there.
Yeah, and when they start to think run, that's when you can either go deep or go to a screen pass, and that's a big rule with coaches is you use the run to open up the pass. So you keep pounding the run until the line wants to go, thinks run the whole time, and then you pass it.
This time it's going to be Josh Rosen completing to Shea Fields. Fields all the way to the outside. Fields is down inside the 5, and he's taken down at the 3-yard line. Josh Rosen did a great job eluding pressure that time and throwing a bullet to Shea Fields. It's 1st and goal for St. John Bosco. They're knocking on the door to make this thing a blowout.
Yeah, that's going to the pass, which I just talked about. They were thinking maybe another run and went to the pass, and that's why it was completion.
1st and goal for Bosco. The handoff to Noss. Noss is met right at the line. Number 32 for Mater Dei, Jared Wilson got straight through the Bosco offensive line and knocked back Manesi Anesi, something you don't see very often.
No, you do not see that very often. That was just more of a fluke off on the offensive line and letting defense, very miscommunication as I should say, on the offensive line's part and letting a defender get in there and really stopping Noss before he can get started.
Great job that time by Mater Dei's defensive line. Mater Dei did take a timeout there, first of the half. You never want to burn timeouts this early, especially when you're down 14-2. Bosco knocking on the door to try to make this one a 3-score game.
Well, that's something you certainly don't see often. But another thing that's been a rarity for this Bosco offense in a number of weeks after the resurgence of Sean McGrew, it's thrust Noss over to the sideline. But in the rare occasions where he does indeed carry the football, he has taken advantage of his opportunities. As in the second half, it's been more about Noss. That might be more of a business decision by this Bosco offense, that leading 14-2, they're starting to impose their will against the Monarchs. This may be a preventative cause where you don't want to injure your star running back, as we are the Bosco Braves, indeed, ready for the postseason with a win today.
Well, if that score holds up at Saddleback College and J. Sarah can knock off Servite, Bosco would clinch its 2nd consecutive Trinity League title. Out of the timeout come the Braves with the 2-back set. The handoff's going to go to Cal commit Gilalio Wadood. Wadood walking into the end zone for a touchdown, Braves! Josh Rosen motioned the Cal commit to his left side from the slot position, lined him up as a running back, And Jaleel Wadood, who doesn't run the ball all that much as a wide receiver, punches one in there for the Braves. And with 7:34 left to go in the third quarter, it's all Bosco, 20-2, the Braves lead.
Yeah, that was more blocking you can credit there. A big, huge hole, and as Reed Budrovich's PAT is up and good, Bosco now leads 21-2. But as I was saying, it was the blocking that was the real key on that Jaleel Wadood touchdown. There was a huge open hole. Jaleel was able to get into the end zone without even being touched, just able to pretty much walk in there. Very, very good job by both Jaleel and the blocking of the offensive line.
So Wadood runs in his first rushing touchdown of the season, and 21-2, the Braves lead the Monarchs now with 7:34 to go. If Mater Dei doesn't score on this next offensive possession, I'd have to say the Monarchs are cooked.
I believe they waved the white flag when right before halftime they spent 45 seconds to get a long play out there to lock it. They had this team by the jugular, and they've let them back in the game. The Monarchs have, and boy, has it really turned up the wayside for this Monarch team who came into this game huge underdogs, and this split certainly shows the talent deficit that this team has. They just don't have the offensive firepower without the production of Justin Allen and the lineup. A guy that has run for over 7 yards a carry, has scored 10 rushing touchdowns, are you kidding me? And also nearly 1,000 yards in only 6 games. So he's been a guy that's been plagued by injuries, and I don't know what they're doing with their running back next week, but I would have them on the field if they do indeed not pull out the win today, and they have to go into next week as a win or done situation, and obviously a very, very tough situation for Bruce Rollins in that Mater Dei football squad.
You want to talk about Bosco Servite next week being a huge game. Orange Lutheran versus Mater Dei next week is turning out to be the Trinity League game of the week.
And we might be split on that game. I'm going Olu all the way. I mean, that team is stacked on running the football. Mater Dei obviously isn't.
21-2, the Bosco Braves have stormed back after being shut down in the first quarter. They lead the Monarchs here with 7:34 to go in the third quarter. Budrovich aligns the football and booms it away, and that one's going to go back into the end zone for a touchback. And Chase Forrest and the Mater Dei offense got to get something going on this drive.
They really do. They're down 21-2 right now, and maybe another score could really push them the momentum out of the game and maybe take them out of it. So they really need to get something going on this drive right here. Very important to get at least 3, preferably 7.
21-2. My oh my! I don't know if we I think a lot of us predicted that St. John Bosco would come out of this game with a victory, and I feel like I'm saying this every week, but once again they surprise us by just beating down on these Trinity League teams. Forrest here on Mater Dei's first offensive play has an interesting offensive set, and the pass is tipped at the line of scrimmage. Malik Dorton, the USC commit, deflecting that one, and it's a 2nd and 10.
Well, it's the way that they do it, though, Chris. It's 1 week putting up a whooping on Jay Serra, a team that we thought matched up very well against this team that put them to overtime. And then this week they're winning with their defense. A squad that doesn't have the same notoriety that this offensive unit does. The firepower isn't quite to the level that the offense is. But they're winning in every which way, week in and week out. It's not the same, and that may be the same scenario for this team in the playoffs.
Out of the gun comes Forrest. Forrest rolling out to his right. Forrest pressured. Forrest just has to get this one away. And a 3rd and 10 upcoming for Mater Dei. A very important 3rd and 10 at that.
Yeah, very important 3rd and 10 for him. And that was good, very good coverage by Bosco's secondary there. There was no open people downfield, so quarterback just had to throw it away. Smart play by the quarterback and good defense by Bosco.
21-2, the Braves leading the Monarchs here. 7:24 left to go here in the third quarter. 4 receiver set here for Chase Forrest. Pistol set. The back is Contreras, and Forrest is going to pass it. Forrest pressured, gets out of an initial sack, goes downfield, and the pass is intercepted. Chandler Hawkins, Mr. Gameface, returning it down the sidelines, and is finally taken down by Forrest at the Mater Dei 20. Mr. Gameface comes up with a huge interception, and Bosco's going to have it in the red zone after the pick.
Ill-advised pass by the quarterback. He was just trying to make something happen and passed it right to Gameface right there. And that is another pick for his total. Very good job by Mr. Gameface, Chandler Hawkins.
The Air Force commit coming up huge for the Braves. And I'd say a score here, Bosco only 20 yards away from the end zone, will seal the deal. Rosen comes out of the gun. The Braves show trips right. McGrew is the back, and Rosen's going to roll out. Now he's going to pass it back to McGrew. McGrew can't get out of the tackle. Gain of 4 that time to Sean.
Boy, the interception was certainly costly, as Bosco's now knocking on the door of a 28-2 lead if they do indeed punch this for another touchdown. Man, I mean, I've just been amazed by a guy like Chase Forrest. So much talent. He's thrown 7 interceptions in the last 3 weeks to 0 passing touchdowns.
It certainly has been a couple of weeks that you don't want to remember if you're Chase Forrest. Chase Forrest certainly still a very talented quarterback. We've seen him run tonight. We've seen that gunslinger arm that he possesses. And there's no secret that he's going to be playing at the next level, but these last couple of weeks have been very tough for him.
Well, they've been tough for a number of quarterbacks going into Bosco and playing. But one other thing that Chase Forrest possesses is a real obvious lack of size and lack of strength. We see Josh Rosen, the big 6'4" frame, and then it's a total different stature versus Chase Forrest, who is a lot smaller and a lot more vulnerable to big hits.
Well, it's a 3rd and 7 here from the Braves from the Mater Dei 17. It's going to be a handoff to Wadud, and Wadud is cut up at the 14. And that'll send out Reed Budrovich and the field goal unit. So I'd have to give Mater Dei's defense a win on that one because, hey, they kept Bosco out of the end zone.
They were put in a terrible spot, and they were indeed up to the challenge. For this Bosco offense, there was no urgency to score or to risk passing the football to move the chains there. A smart play by that Bosco offense, and for Budrovich, another opportunity to add to his already impressive resume, not only kickoffs but also field goals.
It'll be a 31-yarder for the lefty kicker from the left hash. The kick is a line drive, and it is good. So with 5 minutes left to go here in the third quarter, Budrovich tacks on 3 more, and the Braves lead 24-3. You're listening to Bosco Football on Spreaker's own National Sports. We'll be right back.
Tonight's presentation of St. John Bosco Football is brought to you by Tam's Pizzeria. Deliver, call in, and order. Just walk into the corner of Bellflower and Rosecrans for Tam's Pizzeria. They have it all. And highschoolscoreboard.com. All of your updated scores, news, and statistics all at one place. To get the app and registration, log on at highschoolscoreboard.com. Tam's Pizzeria is a proud sponsor of the St. John Bosco Football Radio Network. Tam's has it all. Pizza, wings, burgers, and more. Say Braves #1 when you order any specialty pizza and receive $2 off. Call in and order at 562-925-7700. Again, 562-925-7700. Walk-ins are always welcome as Tam's is located on the corner of Bellflower and Rosecrans. Tam's Pizzeria. They have it all.
Back here at Father Frank Rabada Field in Bellflower, California, where the Braves have started to run away with this thing in the second half. It's 24-3, Bosco leading Mater Dei. Packed house, breaking the attendance record for a Bosco football game. And it's nice to see the whole city of Bellflower, the alumni of St. John Bosco, as well as the Mater Dei fans showing out here tonight.
Really is. Mater Dei brought a lot of people as we look across and see the stands pretty much filled to capacity. And looking around, Bosco brings all alumni and friends, family around and packing their stands and other stands that were brought in just for this game. Very impressive to see how many people came to this game today. Very nice seeing it.
It's a beautiful sight, a beautiful field, and a beautiful performance so far from St. John Bosco. They lead 24-2. 5 minutes left to go here in the third quarter. Reed Budrovich, fresh off of a 31-yard field goal that he made, is going to kick it off here for St. John Bosco. Back to receive is Jonathan Lockett and Matthew Rockett. And Budrovich boots this one away, and this one once again sails back into the end zone for a touchback. And Chase Forrest and the Mater Dei offense will be plagued, and I say plagued for a reason because they haven't been able to move the football. They're plagued and forced with the task of starting at their own 20.
I don't know what disease has been plaguing this team, but it certainly has hit the whole football team from player 1 to player numbers. I don't even know how many players are on this team, but it doesn't really matter. None of them really impacted this game at all, other than give the Bosco Braves something to celebrate. They're on their way to 9-0. I mean, simple as that, Chris.
Two-back set here for Forrest. His Monarchs trail 24-2, under 5 minutes to go here in the third quarter, and this run this time will go to London Iacopo. And Iacopo gains himself 4 yards to the right side, so I think it's obvious throughout the progression of this game on both sides of the ball, Bosco has just shown that they're just so much more athletic than an already athletic Mater Dei team, which is a scary thought because this Mater Dei offensive line as well as the defensive line are just absolutely worn out.
I mean, not only are these lines massive, but they also can move, as we saw in the first quarter. Offensively, this team just outpaced the Braves, who now are pulling away with this one.
Well, this time it's going to be Forrest on a screen pass out to Jonathan Lockett, finally getting the Washington commit involved, and it'll be a first down for Mater Dei at their 36-yard line. So how about that for a game plan? Get the best player on the field for Mater Dei involved.
That's a good idea. I mean, that would certainly help their offensive production. With a player so talented as Jonathan Lockett, nice play to get out there and pick up the first down.
Deion Sanders, comparisons to a high school kid. I don't know if he'd like to hear that. I'm sure Lockett would like to hear that, though.
Sometimes you recognize talent at a very young age, like like Jonathan Lockett out there. I'll give you more comparisons a little later.
It's a 1st and 10 for Mater Dei. It's Contreras running over right tackle. Contreras breaks loose and has a gain of 5. Despite these 4 or 5 yards runs, I mean, Contreras and Iacopo have been getting the bulk of the carries tonight for Mater Dei. They really haven't been able to find many holes.
Yeah, one of the things that I said you need to beat Bosco with is opening up with short yardage. And that is what they did do, and it looked very promising, but you need to open up the short yards into bigger things, and they haven't taken that step to get bigger yardage. They've only done short yardage and haven't converted on third downs as much as they need to.
2nd and 5 here for Mater Dei at their own 40. I formation. It's going to be Forrest, a play action. Forrest pressured. Malik Dorton can't bring him down. He just gets the pass off. It's incomplete, intended for the big fullback, Malik McMorris. Great job pressuring that time by Dorton, Tiote Mariner, and Martinez of the Bosco Braves defensive line. And a 3rd and 5 upcoming for Mater Dei.
It just seems like all these, like Mater Dei just gets into the third down situation so early on. They only get one, if that, first downs on their drives. And it's very deflating for an offense to get those short yardages but not have them amount to anything.
It's pretty insane that the only 2 points have not been at fault of the defense against such a good offense like Mater Dei so far here tonight. Coming on a safety was the only 2 points after a snap that was over the head of Richard Cole. Meanwhile, Chase Forrest throws a bullet over the middle and has a first down for Mater Dei around midfield. Number 86, Andre Udria, catches his second ball of the night. The tight end, who is a junior, picking up a key first down there for Mater Dei, and here they are at the 50-yard line, almost in Bosco territory, somewhere where they're not accustomed to being so far here tonight.
No, they haven't. In this second half, they haven't done anything to get into Bosco territory. So as a run here
with London Iacopo, and Iacopo gets himself 5 yards off right tackle. So despite that big offensive line of Mater Dei being so tired, they're still pushing and grinding out there, and Iacopo picks up a good gain of 5 on first down.
Yeah, that offensive line, both offensive line and defense of line of Mater Dei has been very impressive against these Braves, which has dominated pretty much every other line that they faced.
Well, Mater Dei, like we've been saying all night long, known for having an insanely good offensive line. They're always big up front. Forrest comes under center. It's going to be a reverse to Jonathan Lockett, the Washington commit, and Lockett is loose. He has a first down into St. John Bosco territory, getting inside the 35. I don't understand why Jonathan Lockett hasn't been more involved tonight, but nonetheless, it's a 1st and 10 for Mater Dei.
Wow, certainly Lockett now getting into the groove of things. Quick update with the Trinity League, as it is official. Orange Lutheran has defeated Santa Margarita, and those Eagles, now at 1-3 in Trinity League, bumped out of the postseason with an embarrassing 40-point loss to Orange Lutheran. The Lancers improved to 2-2 in Trinity League play. We'll give you more up-to-date action on J. Sarah and Servite. Currently, those J. Sarah Catholics leading 48-43.
Some wild affairs out in Orange County tonight, as the pass from Forrest is going to go out to Jacob Welsh, the 5'11 junior, and he'll pick himself up 7 yards to the outside. So Mater Dei starting to get it kind of going through the air here. It all started with a simple screen pass to Jonathan Lockett. That's giving Chase Forrest a little bit of momentum, I guess you could call it, a little bit of confidence as he's moving his team downfield here for the first time tonight.
Yeah, they're getting this drive going, and they are far from out of it with 1:33 left in the third. So they need to get something going, and if they can, they have a run at beating Bosco, but just the defense has been stellar, and so is the offense.
This time it's going to be a pitch to the outside. Contreras gets it, but he'll only get himself about 1. That's the only negative so far as Mater Dei's running game goes tonight. I mean, Justin Allen, such a fantastic running back, not in there really hurts them.
Yeah, it really does hurt them, and that's just another key player out for Mater Dei, and that it's affecting the running game right now, as you can see.
3rd and 5 for the Monarchs.
3rd and 5
29.
for Mater Dei. Another crucial third down. I feel like we've been saying that all night. Yeah. But with under a minute now left to go, trailing 24-2, Mater Dei needs it right here on 3rd and 5. Forrest comes out of the gun. They'll stack up extra blockers to the left, will the Monarchs. Forrest is going to go back to pass it, faces pressure, throws it up, and it's way out of bounds over the head of London Iacopo, the intended receiver, and a 4th down upcoming here for Bruce Rollinson's squad, and it appears they'll go for it, and why not?
Well, they've converted a lot of 3rd downs, not the same story for 4th downs, but Chase Forrest really needs to score for his offense on this drive, or at least get them in somewhat scoring territory for a field goal, because no points on this drive would certainly end things for the Monarchs here as we end the 3rd quarter. Crowd on its feet. It's a huge play, gentlemen.
4th down, the Bosco crowd on its feet. All 8,000 on its feet for this crucial play. Out of the gun comes Forrest. Forrest has lots of time. Forrest flushed out to the right. Forrest going for the end zone. Incomplete. Ben Humphreys was the intended receiver. Great job that time by Chandler Hawkins and Brett Baldwin and Jaleel Wadood, making sure that pass was not caught by Humphreys, and it's a turnover on downs with 28 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. Bosco gets the football back, up 24-2.
Yeah, Mater Dei had a very good drive going there, but like we've said before, they'll get good drives going, but they haven't converted those drives into points.
Very uncharacteristic play of Chase Forrest in these last couple of weeks, and it certainly costed the Monarchs. Last week losing to Santa Margarita, and they're on their way to a loss here tonight, barring a remarkable comeback against St. John Bosco. That would push Mater Dei to 2-2 in league, something that they did not expect and something we did not expect as well, as Sean Magoo gets 2 yards here on the first play for Bosco on this offensive drive.
Third quarter's about to end here, and same are the Mater Dei hopes coming away with a victory here. I don't mean to make it all blunt like that, but when it's been that sort of a game here for the Monarchs, boy, not a whole lot of answers you could say for a team that I'm surprised, because on third down they've been so effective. As Chase Forrest has spread the ball around to so many different receivers, we're complimenting how this coaching staff spread the ball around to 8, 9, 10, 11 guys. Yet at the end of the day, I'm surprised that yet another week, yet another result of no offensive points heading into the fourth quarter.
It's fourth quarter time from Bellflower. It's 24-2. The Braves leading the Monarchs. We'll have fourth quarter action for you when we get back on Spreaker.com's own national sports.
Tonight's presentation of St. John Bosco football is brought to you by Tam's Pizzeria. Deliver, call in, and order. Just walk into the corner of Bellflower and Rosecrans for Tam's Pizzeria. They have it all. And highschoolscoreboard.com. All of your updated scores, news, and statistics all at one place. To get the app and registration, log on at highschoolscoreboard.com. Catch every high school game this season with the High School Scoreboard app, along with @St. John Bosco on Twitter as well. Now back to Bosco football with Chris Sylvester and Nick Rice.
Back here at St. John Bosco High School, getting ready for fourth quarter action. The Braves leading the Monarchs 24-2. It's been a complete momentum shift since we came away from that first quarter with a 2-0 Mater Dei lead. Bosco's clearly dominated the game from that point on. Adam, in this fourth quarter, do you look for a non-conservative coach like Jason Negro to be conservative in such a big game and just try to run out the clock?
No, I don't expect him to try to run out the clock, because Bosco still doesn't have that full lead on it. And as we all know, Mater Dei has the ability to come back from this. So I'd expect him to just play his regular offense and just try to keep getting points, because we know Mater Dei has the capability of making this 22-point comeback in these 12 minutes very, very easily if they get something going.
We're just about ready for the fourth quarter to start. Bosco has the football on their own 31-yard line, a 2nd and 9 for the Braves. It's a 3-receiver set for Bosco, 2 to the right, 1 to the left, and they'll stick with that run that's been working all night long, and Sean Magoo gets to the 35. Gain of 4, and Bosco faced with a third and about 4 here from their own 35-yard line.
That kid has been the story today. Sean Magoo, he has been the impact player of the game so far, and I expect him to be for the rest of the game. Josh Rosen from the gun, hands off to Sean Magoo once again, and a 1-yard gain for Sean Magoo, and that brings up fourth down.
Fourth down, so Mater Dei gets a stop on the offensive side. Well, Braves get stopped by the Monarchs defense. Monarchs get a stop on the defensive side of the ball, and that perhaps gives them a little bit of hope here with 11:10 to go in the fourth quarter. Still down 22 points. Better make this quick, as the punt is blocked, and it's going to go out of bounds. So Richard Cole has his very first punt of the season blocked. Huge play by Mater Dei special teams. Second time tonight we've seen trouble in the Braves punting game. First time it went over the head of Cole and went back into the end zone. This time it's blocked. Can't really blame him that time. Just great rush by the Mater Dei special teams.
Yeah, great rush and bad blocking. I think that the line of the special teams was thinking more heading downfield first rather than blocking, and it showed there. And this is the kind of thing that Mater Dei needs to turn their game around. Getting a big special teams play, and now this can get their offense going and get them back in this game.
So Mater Dei is going to have prime field position here at the Bosco 35. It's going to be Forrest keeping, and it'll only get himself a couple. Really, if you're Mater Dei, the clock is not on your side. I don't know why you're not passing the football.
And when you pass the football, getting the ball into not only Lockett's hands but Ben Humphrey's hands would be a very good idea. I like how you're spreading the ball around to everyone. That's all fine and dandy, but when you don't score points, I don't care exactly how you're doing it. On 2nd and 8 here, in not exactly field goal range but close enough to it, Forrest has a strong enough arm to take a shot here. Let's see what they do with Lockett to the right and Humphreys to the left. A prime position here for the quarterback.
Mater Dei has been running that complicated offense all night long. I don't know if what you want to call it. As a flag flies out, it'll be false start on the Monarchs, and
it's confusing themselves. As a false start here sends them back.
Well, certainly if you're an offense and you're confusing yourself, you're definitely confusing the broadcasters up here, right?
Yeah, you really are. It's not very nice to do to us up here. You try to run that simple offense we like to call.
Well, Mater Dei is our rival.
Yeah, so, I mean, I can't say much to add to that. They are our rival. Mater Dei and Servite are the two biggest St. John Bosco rivals in the Trinity League, by far.
5 receivers set here on a 2nd and 13. Forrest back to pass. Forrest steps up, and Forrest can't get away from Malik Dorton. The USC commit coming up with a stop that time. No gain on the play, and a 3rd and long upcoming for Mater Dei. Look for Jonathan Lockett here, but don't be surprised if they just run the football again. I don't understand this game plan at all from Bruce Rawlinson.
They passed the ball to start the game when they were up 2-0, yet they're running the football when they're down 24-2. I don't like the call, but here on 3rd down, they have done a very nice job converting these to first. We'll see what they do with their longest attempt of the day, a 3rd and 12.
3rd and 12 here for Forrest, and flags fly again. Mater Dei, a false start, and it'll make it even a longer 3rd down, 3rd and 17. Now you force Forrest to have to really air it out.
Yeah, you are, and that's just making a bad situation even worse. 2 back-to-back illegal procedures, not a way you want to have your offense.
3rd and 17. The clock is just ticking away, under 9 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Bosco leading 24-2. A 3rd and 17 here for Forrest in the Mater Dei offense. Forrest pressured. Forrest dumps it off to Iacopo. Iacopo gets to the outside, and he'll only get back to the original line of scrimmage. Christian Holland coming up on the stop there. It's a 4th and 11. You're in Bosco territory. You're down 22 points. Mater Dei's going to go for it here.
I want to compliment Iacopo, though. We mentioned Justin Allen and his production on this running game, but Iacopo has been a steady part of this offense for a majority of the game. We've seen broken tackles out of this running back that has been met by Bosco defenders in the backfield. Literally just about every carry every time he's touched the ball here. 4th and 11, no chance he'll get the call here as they look to go deep and convert.
4th and 11, and it appears Bosco jumped off sides. Damian Mama, who doesn't play much defensive line, getting some reps there tonight and jumps off sides that time. Wanted to give Ivan Martinez a breather, but Damian Mama a little bit disappointed in himself, shaking his head as he comes back to the sidelines. It'll move this one up and make it a much more manageable 4th down. 4th and 6 now for Chase Forrest. Still got to figure you go to the air here if you're Mater Dei.
Yeah, I think Damian Mama's not the only one that needs a breather here, as this offense has been on the field an awfully long time to only be putting 2 points on the board.
Forrest out of the gun. Forrest steps up. Forrest has room. Forrest has to get to the outside, and it will be awfully close to the 1st down marker. Forrest was in a foot race that time with the Washington State commit middle linebacker Chandler Lanou, and it'll be a very close ball spot here for St. John Bosco, and sure enough, Chase Forrest not going to get it, and for the 2nd time tonight, Mater Dei doesn't get it on fourth down. It's a turnover on downs. 7.5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. 24-2, Bosco's leading. This one's all but over.
That was fantastic athleticism by Chandler Lanou. I'm sure Adam would agree with me. That was single-handedly, that stop was all because of the middle linebacker who's on his way to the next level.
Yeah, he came from the complete other side of the field and made that stop to force a fourth down. Rosen hands it off to Sean McGrew again, getting pushed, and a gain of around 5.
Gain of 5 that time for the sophomore running back. Bosco at this point just looking to wrap it up. Important score to report to you. Jay Serra leading Servite 48-43. 58 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter from Saddleback College. If Jay Serra holds on there and Bosco holds on here, Bosco has themselves their second consecutive Trinity League title.
Not only that, but we secure a fantastic Week 5 as we have a number of teams in the hunt if that score holds up with Jay Serra defeating heavily favored Servite.
This time it's going to be a keeper from Rosen on second down, and Rosen just steps outside before he got loose. Not too many times you'll see Josh Rosen get loose, but that time he picks up a first down for St. John Bosco with his legs.
Yeah, I think one of the defenders was a little confused because he grabbed Josh Rosen's jersey, but kind of just as just a little touch and didn't really realize he had the ball and let him go.
First and 10, that'll move it up to Bosco's own 43 here. This trips right is what Bosco comes out showing. Just keep the ball on the ground here if you're St. John Bosco. Really, it's been working all night long. Wadood motioned into the backfield. He'll get the carry, and the Cal commit cuts up the middle and is taken down after a gain of 3. Malik McMorris grabbed onto his arm to bring down Wadood, or else that could have been a huge gain for the Cal commit.
Yeah, that was a little shaky handoff, too. Rosen had to stretch out to give that ball to Wadood. But a good little gain there, and continues for the clock to run.
2nd and 7 here.
28 seconds to go.
4 receivers set for the Braves. 28 seconds left from Saddleback College. Jay Serra leading Servite 48-43. Santa Margarita got drubbed by Orange Lutheran tonight, 54-14. Meanwhile, Josh Rosen goes deep for Shea Fields and overshot him. Incomplete. Third down upcoming. Rosen on those deep balls tonight hasn't been the same.
No, he hasn't, and that's the second time that in the same exact spot that Shea Fields has been open and burnt his defender, and Josh Rosen's just overthrown the ball.
3rd and 7. 5:58 to go, fourth quarter, 24-2. The Braves dominating the Monarchs here in front of a sold-out crowd in Bellflower, California. Chris Sylvester, Adam Ferrister, Nick Rice with you. Glad you can join us tonight on the national sports station and an affiliate of Spreaker.com. It's a 3rd and 7 here for St. John Bosco from their own 45. Rosen's pressured in the backfield, and Rosen is sacked. It's Ben Humphreys. How about them apples coming up on the sack, and that'll force St. John Bosco to punt, you'd have to think here.
Well, the time's certainly making 2 games final. Bosco should pull this one out, along with, as our live game seems to be done and over with, it looks like Jay Serra pulled up the upset. We'll give you actual statistics if that is a possibility, but based off of our readings, it looks like Jay Serra beating Servite 48-43. That offense certainly pulled through in that game. We have a punt that'll be fielded by Lockett. No, he'll let it go in the end zone for a touchback. Chris? No. They're going to take it short. You take it away.
Well, Richard Cole making up for that blocked punt. He just sent off a booming punt, and the ball is downed right at the Mater Dei's own 2-yard line. So if it's not bad enough that you're down 24-2, Bosco, after that punt, is going to force Mater Dei to have to drive 98 yards, which seems impossible to do against this Brave defense.
Yeah, that was a beautiful punt by Richard Cole. Even if a Bosco player didn't touch it, it would have landed probably right at the 5, but Bosco player touched it right as it was getting that back bounce, and very, very good punt by R.D. Cole.
24-2, 5:09 left to go.
The Braves are playing the Servite Flyers at home
Here in the fourth quarter.
Game of the season. Pre-sale tickets for this game may be purchased in the school's
As
main
we
office
have a
from Monday through Thursday at
TV
6
timeout here from Bellflower, California. The Braves are 5 minutes and 9 seconds away from another Trinity League title. You're listening to St. John Bosco football here on the National Sports Station, an affiliate of Spreaker.com. 5:09 left to go, fourth quarter. The Braves leading the Monarchs 24-2.
Tonight's presentation of St. John Bosco football is brought to you by Tam's Pizzeria. Deliver, call in, and order. Just walk into the corner of Bellflower and Rosecrans for Tam's Pizzeria. They have it all. And highschoolscoreboard.com. All of your updated scores, news, and statistics all at one place. To get the app and registration, log on at highschoolscoreboard.com.
Back here in Bellflower, California, 5:09 left to go from Father Frank Rabata Field. The Braves leading the Monarchs 24-2. Just 5 minutes and 9 seconds remaining until the Braves can celebrate on the field with their second consecutive Trinity League title. Big news out of Saddleback College. Jay Serra getting their first Trinity League win in a big spot, beating Servite tonight 48-43. Sounds like a wild one happened out at Saddleback College. Meanwhile, Mater Dei has the ball at their own 2-yard line, and it's going to be a screen pass in the end zone and incomplete. Looking for Matthew Rocket and getting smashed by Jaleel Wadood that time. Incomplete. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, that was just, that wide receiver on that screen pass got hit pretty hard there, and we'll see 2nd and 10 at the 2.
Weird stuff, man. Weird stuff tonight in the fourth quarter. 24-2, 5:05 left to go. Mater Dei really threw the white flag, like you said, at the end of the first half when they took 40 seconds to draw up a simple pass play as the run with the big fullback Malik McMorris to get Mater Dei a little bit of breathing room goes up the middle for only a gain of 2. And if Mater Dei can't convert on this third down, they're going to be punting out of their own end zone.
Well, give them some credit. Defensively, they have played very strong against these Bosco Braves. Mind you, this Bosco team has never had this, as far as points are concerned, they have never scored these few of points, as they, outside of 1 week, have scored at least 40 in every single game this season. So defensively, Mater Dei has something to look proud about. They held this team to 24 points if they do indeed hold them off for another 424 here. 24-2 score. Maybe the offense can give what the defense has all night long.
Well, Forrest is in the end zone. Forrest pressured, and it's incomplete. Ivan Martinez and Malik Dorton forcing pressure that time on Forrest. And Tim Strader will be forced to punt out of his own end zone, and he's not going to have the usual 15 yards of breathing room. Bosco could very well get back and block this thing away.
Bosco does a good job of withholding any breathing room that you get right at the beginning of the game here. This punter has done a good job, not only in today's game, but also has punted an average, which is among the top of the Trinity League. 36 yards per punt. We'll see what kind of a net he has here.
Well, this time Strader just lucky to get it away. Wadood back to catch it around midfield. Jaleel Wadood moves to the outside before he's taken down, and not much of a gain that time, but a couple of fancy spin moves. Might land Wadood on Dancing with the Stars one day, right?
Does that look a little bit like Deion Sanders there?
So first you compared Lockett to Deion Sanders. Now you're comparing Wadood to Deion Sanders. Can you make up your mind?
I can make up my mind that those two players are athletic. I mean, they are just athletically superior to everyone else. In my mind, I think Wadood is the most athletic by size and strength of anybody on that Bosco offense, with Sean McGrew being close. Just Wadood has that agility that I haven't seen out of any receiver in a long time.
1st and 10 here for Bosco at midfield. It's going to be a handoff to Clifford Sims, and Sims is taken down behind the line of scrimmage. A loss of 2 that time. Clock under 4 minutes left to go, 24-2. St. John Bosco leading Mater Dei. We were expecting a little bit closer of a dogfight here tonight, and it certainly was a dogfight for about 2.5 quarters, but St. John Bosco, like they've shown pretty much every week this season, showing the nation here tonight why they are the number one team in the state of California, and might as well put them as the number one team in the nation, right?
Well, if I can make my mind up on anything, it's that the Bosco Braves are pretty good. You can pencil them in as a contender for not only the Southern California title, but also competing to be the top team in the state. There are other competitors not only in the Trinity League. It's not the only league that's competitive. There are my hometown of Murrieta. They have a very good Bronco team over there, Vista Murrieta Broncos. They should be pulling away in that division as well. We'll see if they can contest for these Bosco Braves. Looks like it's going to be an incomplete pass there, or a caught for lost yardage. In the second half, this offense hasn't really done anything, but then again, they haven't really had to. Chris, your thoughts about not only for this Bosco offense being held to such a low margin, but how this offense is going to compare against teams that actually have a little more balance on the defensive side?
Well, I think Bosco will fare a little bit differently against them, as Richard Cole once again barely getting off this punt and back to receive it around the 20-yard line is number 23, Kobe Lowe. But getting back to your point there, I mean, it's pretty crazy how the Trinity League season's not over yet, and, you know, Bosco's 2:20 to go until they clinch their second consecutive Trinity League title, up 24-2 here in the fourth quarter against Mater Dei. But it's crazy to think that just 2 years ago this team was struggling to get in the playoffs. Now the season's not even over, and we're already looking ahead to the playoffs.
Not only that, but I've been speaking to guys that are very familiar with high school football, and they aren't quite aware that Bosco is this good. They're ranked as the top team in the state, but for a long time, Bosco's been branded as a team that can't get it done against the Trinity League. I've been speaking to fellow friends of mine, and Bosco comes around, and they have no clue if that's even a football team or if that's just a high school.
Soon they'll know.
Soon they'll know.
Soon they will know. I can guarantee you that. This St. John Bosco team just so solid in every forefront. I mean, offensively, defensively, special teams, even though the special teams have struggled a little bit here tonight. 2nd and 12 here for Forrest. Forrest pressured, throws, and it's almost intercepted by Nigel Hale.
I do have a question, though. What do you think has been the main reason, the main portion of this team that has really helped revitalize this squad from being a doormat to a state contender?
I think it has. I think we kind of touch on this every single week. Jason Negro.
Yeah.
He not only did he bring in freshmen and turn them into stars over his 4 years here. I mean, this is his 4th year coaching. 3rd year he's going to be in the playoffs. But I mean, he also brought in a plethora of transfers as well, like Jaleel Wadood, like Chandler Lanou, like Nigel Hale. I mean, this team is loaded with impact transfers, and you can credit all that to Jason Negro and the coaching staff, because they have done an absolutely fantastic job at turning around what, like you said, was a doormat football program into a state contender.
Yeah. Absolutely. I want to also give the hats off to some of those transfers for actually coming into a new system in their first year and making plays. You know how hard that is to get a new playbook, get a new system, a new school, a new location, and make the same impact that you did with the school before. It's a lot harder than you think. It's kind of like in the pro game, bringing a free agent and hoping that he's going to make the same impact. It's very hard to do, but Jason Negro has a recruiting staff that, in my mind, is among the top of the nation. I mean, we're speaking of a team that, talent-wise, compares to every single team in the country as being the best.
Yeah, and I think that has a lot to do with, once again, the coaching staff, because you can bring this cohesive group together. That's one thing, but to get every single one of these guys on the roster to buy in to what you're saying is another thing. And I've seen these guys' practices. I've seen these guys' meetings. This is one special group of guys. They're all one big family. They call each other brothers, around school and in the locker room and whatever, and at practice as well. So it's just a great group of guys to have here, and they are headed for something special. So 51 seconds here left to go. Victory formation for the Braves, as Josh Rosen will have to take a couple of kneels here to wind down that clock. 24-2, the St. John Bosco Braves are going to move to 9-0 on the season, and for the first time in school history, beating Mater Dei in 3 consecutive seasons. This one, not very close.
Wasn't very close from the get-go here after a 2-0 score. And even from the pregame, if the Mater Dei Monarchs could not put up points offensively, then they wouldn't have a chance. 24-2, Braves win.
Rosen takes a kneel. And the St. John Bosco Braves, for the 2nd consecutive season, celebrate on the field. They have won the Trinity League. Three years ago, something like this was improbable. Now it's reality. The Braves celebrate on the field. They are back-to-back Trinity League champions tonight with a 24-2 convincing win over these heavily storied, heavily known around Southern California Mater Dei Monarchs. No shot tonight against St. John Bosco.
No shot, and I want to take a quick look around the standings. We'll get to more of this in the Tams Pizzeria, quick post-game show. We'll also bring the player of the game onto the set here, live from St. John Bosco. But this victory certainly makes things interesting, as we have 3 of the 5 contenders in the Trinity League at 2-2 in Trinity play, which means that basically every game in the Trinity League for week number 5 is important. Bosco is moving on to the playoffs, so that's about all we know, as the rest of the league is up for grabs. Servite falls to 2-2, and boy, what a devastating loss for a team that won the turnover battle, but at the end of the game did not win the war of attrition against perhaps one of the most talented offensive weapons up and coming in high school sports, Sean McGrew, who had 14 of the team's 24 points, and also provided the most offense out of any player on that side of the football. I'm very impressed with St. John Bosco, a very solid win. Team effort, as every week it seems to be the same thing. One side of the ball struggles, or one player doesn't have a great game. The rest of the team steps it up. I witnessed a couple weeks ago during my first broadcast that the defensive side of the ball against Olu wasn't doing a good job, but the receivers stepped up. The receivers not only took short passes in the big gains, but always were open for their quarterback, Josh Rosen. Last week, Rosen, the quarterback, was struggling, so the defense took control and forced a convincing win over Jay Serra. And tonight, it has been defense as well, but it's been in a much different light. They've created turnovers and big plays, and I'm impressed for this Bosco team, and we'll see them a couple weeks in the playoffs, Chris.
Yes, we will. It'll be certainly interesting to see who Bosco draws in the first round, but assuming they can take care of business next week against Servite, they're probably going to have somewhat of an easy competition next in the first round of the playoffs. Probably going to see a 3rd or 4th place Moore League team come in here to Frank Rabata Field and, give an effort against the St. John Bosco team. That's the luxury of being the number 1 overall seed, which the Braves figure to be in the Pac-5 this upcoming postseason, but still a big game next week against the rival Servite Friars.
Boy, next week it'll really be interesting for a majority of these teams in the Trinity League. We'll get to all that more in the post-game show. So we'll give Chris Sylvester his final way out here, but we obviously thank you guys for listening. It was a hard-fought game for Mater Dei and for the St. John Bosco Braves, as it was an emotional night here, not only for the hometown crowd following a Halloween night, but also for that Mater Dei football team. It's just a special occasion, Mater Dei and St. John Bosco, and the pregame hype certainly certainly fit the bill, but the play on the field for the Monarchs certainly has to improve if they want to contend for St. John Bosco. It's final, Chris. The Braves are on their way to 9-0. Can you believe that?
A couple of years ago, something like this was really unbelievable, but it's become a reality in Bellflower. As tonight, we remind you the final score, the Braves 24, the Monarchs 2. The Braves win their second consecutive Trinity League title, with Servite losing at J. Sarah tonight. Stay tuned for the TAMS post-game show with Nick Rice, myself, and Adam Ferrister, along with our player of the game. You don't want to miss it. St. John Bosco, once again, moving to 9-0 tonight, winning the Trinity League for the second consecutive season and beating Mater Dei 24-2. Stay tuned for the TAMS halftime report up next on Spreaker.com, an affiliate of National Sports.
Tam's Pizzeria is a proud sponsor of the St. John Bosco Football Radio Network. Tam's has it all: pizza, wings, burgers, and more. Say Braves #1 when you order any specialty pizza and receive $2 off. Call in and order at 562-925-7700. Again, 562-925-7700. Walk-ins are always welcome, as Tam's is located on the corner of Bellflower and Rosecrans. Tam's Pizzeria. They have it all. Tonight's presentation of St. John Bosco football is brought to you by Tam's Pizzeria. Deliver, call in, and order. Just walk into the corner of Bellflower and Rosecrans for Tam's Pizzeria. They have it all. And highschoolscoreboard.com. All of your updated scores, news, and statistics all at one place. To get the app and registration, log on at highschoolscoreboard.com. Tam's Pizzeria, they do indeed have it all, and they are a proud sponsor of tonight's presentation by the National Sports Radio Station on Spreaker.com. It is final. The Braves defeat the Monarchs 24-2, the final score. Nick Rice alongside Chris Sylvester for what should be a very entertaining post-game shows. We have the player of the game here from St. John Bosco, and we promise you to have a new one typically every week. We got a great performance from a number of guys, including Sean McGrew, who in my mind high school scouts should be looking out for, because this guy very easily could be the top running back in the country in the next couple years.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw him showcase his talent tonight, not only rushing the football but receiving it as well. He had that 34-yard reception from Josh Rosen to end the first half back in the second quarter. And, of course, he had that big run of 49 yards to get things going offensively for St. John Bosco. This kid has been a spark, and without this kid, I don't know if Bosco would be 9-0 and Trinity League champions right now, but sure enough, they are. They're celebrating on the field right now, as they should. Well-deserved. They just wrapped up their second consecutive title, first time in school history that's happened, and they just basically have dominated the best league in the country, arguably, for the last two seasons. But getting back to Sean McGrew, like you were saying, he could be very well one of the top running backs, and college scouts got to look out for this kid. I mean, he's going to be playing at the Division I level, no doubt about that.
Well, because he has so much potential for being such a fast guy, and certainly caught this coaching staff off guard, because they had Manessa Nessie as the key running back for the entire season. They turn around and give it to Sean McGrew, and he has never looked back. He has seized his opportunities and have proved to the coaching staff that he is the guy of the future. Don't let the fumble in the first quarter fool you. This guy is somebody who can handle the rock, can carry the load, and has lifted this football team to a 9-0 Trinity League record. And if there's anything that you have worried for this Bosco team, I can't find it. I don't know if you can, but after 9 weeks, this looks to me like the most complete team. It's not exactly a team that every week imposes your will in all three phases, but it's a team that is so close chemistry-wise. If one side of the ball or one player struggles, the rest of the team just happens to figure out a way to pick up the slack and win their 9 straight.
And I think that's the difference between last year's team that lost in the semifinals to Long Beach Poly to this year's team, which I really believe is bound for a state championship, or at least a run deep into the postseason. So certainly I think it's a lot different this year, just because of the fact that hey, you have, I think the group is closer of guys this year. I think last year you had a couple of egos on the team, and Jason Negro made sure he fixed that in the offseason. I think the loss last year to Long Beach Poly was a blessing in disguise because it really got these guys closer and closer through the offseason. And what was on their mind the entire offseason was that last loss to Poly, and that helped motivate them in the weight room, in practice, while watching film, while in team meetings, while at team gatherings. I mean, this is just a group of about, 60 to 70 guys that Jason Negro has had all buy into his plan, and certainly it's worked because last year St. John Bosco didn't lose until their 13th game of the season. They have yet to lose, and who knows if they're even going to lose at all this season.
If they do, I certainly want to be sent the memo. I can't find any way that this team can not pull it out. We're going to have our player of the game walk over to the studios very shortly. Very entertaining post-game conference we always have with the player of the game. Make sure to stay tuned for that, as we had a number of key contributors in a Bosco 24-2 win. For just about 5 seconds or so, we were wondering about what modern-day player could we put into this post-game show, but then again, we realized this team is really, really good.
I think we're broken records. There's no secret about that. I mean, we say the same thing every single week, but it's so true. I mean, because you can't, even us, especially as a player, you can't come into a game thinking, oh, we're going to win this one for sure. We got this for sure. I mean, it's good to be confident to think, all right, we do things right, we're going to win this game. Right. Not even against the bottom of the barrel. Jay Serra last week did Bosco underestimate them. They came out strong. You saw last year St. John Bosco go to overtime with Jay Serra. You saw Bosco barely sneak out a win against Mater Dei, barely sneak out a win against Orange Lutheran. This year they're just absolutely pounding these teams. And do we know that there's a possibility of that each and every game? Absolutely, but to go out here and actually do it on the field is still surprising to us because I don't think we've ever seen a Trinity League dominate like Bosco's been doing the last couple of seasons, and especially this year, none of the games have been even close. All of them 20-plus point margin wins.
I'm actually very surprised. I don't know why the weekly SoCal ratings have a team like Bosco not ranked number 1 in the nation. I don't know who, in my mind, is better than the St. John Bosco Braves. Top team in the state, but, they're just destroying teams. They're not even trying. They really aren't. The entire second half, their game plan was to run the ball every down. They didn't really get a lot of first downs there in the second half, but they didn't have to. The defense was so overwhelming for the modern-day Monarchs that it just was way too much to handle, and we are trying to get some sort of a post-game press conference here. As every week we've promised you the player of the game. We'll get you somebody. We promise you. We'll get you somebody to move on to the post-game studios. As we here at Spreaker.com, we bring that to you. Not only that, but we bring you a very comprehensive post-game show. That's what we do. That's what we always do.
That's what we do. That's exactly what we do. As far as other Trinity League scores go tonight, 48-43, Jay Serra. That's the big story around the Trinity League tonight, knocking off Servite. And going back to what we were just talking about with St. John Bosco, we're always surprised because they run away with every single game. You look at Servite, a team 2-1 fresh off of a Hail Mary victory, and you look at a team Jay Serra 0-3 fresh off of a drubbing that Bosco gave them last week at Saddleback College. You're thinking, okay, Servite has all the momentum in the world, but instead Jay Serra goes out there with nothing to lose and takes it to the Servite Friars in just a shootout, 48-43, and that gives St. John Bosco this Trinity League title for the second consecutive season.
There's no such thing as momentum in the Trinity League. That's all I'm saying.
Anything can happen on any given night in football, especially in high school football, especially in Trinity League play. 54-14, Orange Lutheran beats Santa Margarita tonight. Is that the right score, or is that just a typo?
That's the right score, and in my mind, I thought Olu was the best team the Braves have played, and score-wise, it's been the same thing. I'm a fan of Olu and what they're doing. Now winning, outside of the Hail Mary, they played 3 very tough games against the Braves, and then defeating Olu, absolutely destroying Santa Margarita. Wow, I'm surprised. So now, for next week, we'll take a look at the standings here and give you, in my mind, perhaps one of the most competitive Week 5 games in any league. being the Trinity League, but there's no surprise that we have a fascinating Week 5. Obviously, St. John Bosco has run away with this league. They're on their way to, with one win, they can be undefeated, but they already have clinched the Trinity League. They will play Servite at home, and with a win, that may indeed bump the Servite Friars out of the postseason, but that's not a guarantee because Olu and Mater Dei will play. The winner moves to 3-2, which leaves one final spot for either Servite or the winner of J. Sarah and Santa Margarita. So every game is important. Every single game is important. Here we're taking a look here. If I believe we'll create some quick predictions here. Just a fantasy scenario here. I don't know if you'll agree with me, Chris, but we're taking a look at the Trinity League and the schedule here for next week. If there are indeed 3 teams that are going to move on to the playoffs, and right here, I don't know if you know this, Chris, but there is no way outside of if Olu and Servite beats Bosco, which I don't know if that's going to happen, but if Bosco can beat Servite, then there will be one team that is 2-3 moving into Trinity League playoffs, which is very fascinating.
And that's truly remarkable because you look at the 2-3 record, that's not very impressive, but by Trinity League standards, 2 wins, that's very impressive. Very and so, unfortunately for Santa Margarita and J. Sarah, that does kind of make an interesting scenario. J. Sarah is out of the playoff picture. Yeah. That's a for sure. But if Santa Margarita can win next week, I don't really think. Never mind. The math doesn't stack up.
I think they can. I think they can because
Santa Margarita can beat J. Sarah.
Yeah, because they're just a very tough defense. Defensively, I think they have what it takes. And J. Sarah, I mean, are you really buying their inconsistent play? They won their first game. Momentum means nothing. I don't know. I don't know if you're feeling the same way I am, Chris, but I just think Margarita has the firepower.
Well, forget what I just said because J. Sarah and Margarita cannot make the playoffs. They can't. No, but they're looking at the scenario. I know it's really complicated, and I'm sure we're confusing the heck of you at home who's listening right now. But, okay, Bosco is the only team to clinch a playoff spot. There can be up to 4 teams in the Trinity League play that get playoff spots, but that's not going to happen because for that to happen, you'd have to have a team that's over 500.
Yeah, but let's just say this. Okay, let's just say Bosco at home takes care of business, beats the Servite Friars because
that puts Servite to 2-3, Bosco to 5-0.
Yeah, 5-0 for Bosco, 2-3 for Servite. Now Mater Dei and Olu plays, and one team has to be 3-2. One team has to because they're playing each other. They're both 2-2. And let's just say Olu gets it done, but it doesn't. Let's just say Olu gets it done. I think they will. Because they've proven to me that they're consistent enough of a team. 3-2 for them, 2-3 for Mater Dei. Who wins the tiebreaker between Mater Dei and Servite?
Mater Dei, because Mater Dei defeated Servite. So we have a scenario where Bosco goes to 5, and this is what I mean. That's really a toss-up when you talk about Mater Dei and Orange Lutheran. That's a huge toss-up because we have no idea what's going to happen in that game. That could be another situation where you have a Hail Mary or something like that. But Bosco's secured its playoff spot. They've secured their place atop the Trinity League, rightfully so, for the second consecutive season. Servite, I think, would get okay. This is the thing. Mater Dei and Orange Lutheran, one of those teams is not going to make the postseason.
Those offenses, though, are...
Whoever loses next week between Mater Dei and Orange Lutheran does not make the postseason.
One of those two. If you lose, you're out?
I take that back. See, it's so complicated. No, because...
No, I think you're right.
Because if Servite loses and Mater Dei loses, Mater Dei has the tiebreaker over Servite. Oh, we're doing the math here ourselves. We're not mathematicians here. We are not mathematicians.
And Mater Dei loses. If they both lose, Mater Dei still owns the tiebreaker over Servite.
Mater Dei owns the tiebreaker over Servite because Mater Dei defeated Servite 28-21 earlier this season. As far as Olu and Servite go, if Mater Dei knocks off Olu and Bosco assumingly knocks off Servite, that puts both those teams to 2-3. But let's not forget, Servite beat Olu on a Hail Mary 20-19 last week, so that gives Servite the tiebreaker. So it's going to be one of Oulu, Mater Dei, and Servite is going to be left out of the playoff picture.
Mm-hmm.
St. John Bosco has their spot secured, but it'll be an exciting Week 5 of Trinity League play to see how that all gets sorted out.
So the results are in, and we are more confused than before. I honestly, and does Margarita or J. Sarah have a chance? They both play each other. It looks like no, they're eliminated. Boy, that really is sad for the Eagles. That really is. They had a chance to pull away with that one. So there are 4 teams battling for 3 spots. And at the end of the day, if Bosco takes care of business, it's going to be Mater Dei that claims the spot. Boy, unless Oulu gets it done.
It's a very complicated scenario. It's going to work itself out.
Yeah, it is.
And as much as we're going to be into broadcasting the game next week against Servite, I'm sure we're going to be constantly checking that Mater Dei Orange Lutheran game as well.
We're broadcasting 2 games in one, but that's what we do. That's what we do on Spreaker.com.
That's what we do on Spreaker.com. Unfortunately, it does not look like we will have a player of the game tonight for the first time this year.
First time this year. Well,
too much other media over us, right?
Too much other playoff predictions, too. So, obviously, we want to thank you guys for joining us. I mean, it's been a fantastic ride. Chris can obviously agree with me that it's just been a pursuit of passion here, broadcasting and making our way to Bosco football, who is indeed the top team in the nation. But it looks like we are just seconds away from calling it a night here at St. John Bosco. Chris, final words on a 24-2 win.
Impressive win, Bosco winning their 2nd consecutive Trinity League title. Make sure you tune in next week when the Braves look to wrap up the regular season against the Servite Friars, who are vying for a playoff spot. So expect the Friars to come in here all fired up and try to knock off the number 1 team in the state of California, the St. John Bosco Braves, who moved to 9-0 with a 24-2 victory tonight over the rival Mater Dei Monarchs. For Nick Rice, for Adam Ferrister, for Matthew Atkinson at High School Scoreboard, my name's Chris Sylvester, reminding you the final score tonight. The Braves move to 9-0 and win their 2nd consecutive Trinity League title with a 24-2 convincing win over the Mater Dei Monarchs. Be sure to tune in next week. Bosco takes on Servite at 7. We'll have the call for you here on Spreaker.com, an affiliation of National Sports. Have a blessed weekend and good night, everybody.